between the last preseason game and the first game.
Yeah, the last
now in the
preseason
NFL.
game is
Friday night, and then the Chiefs play on a
28th,
Monday.
and they don't play again until the 14th. So
they got a long time to go
2 weeks
there.
and 3 days.
Yeah, a long time to go. They just have 4 days left up in St. Joseph, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And, then they'll be back down here doing their real work. And, they don't have as many cuts as they used to, so the cuts come later. There's no reason that you can't cut someone early, but they will keep these guys around to play that last game.
Yeah.
After the last game, they'll start some of those cuts and all that. And some of the guys who are more veterans, they maybe cut them a little early to let them catch on if they're trying to be that kind of spot.
The old days, it was when the 4-game thing, they'd play the last game on Thursday, and the cuts were usually due sometime Saturday.
Yeah.
And they'd start trickling out, and you'd get a big wall of them. About 2 o'clock, people would be hanging out around the practice facility and seeing who was coming in and who was leaving.
Well, they used to cut people during camp too.
Yeah.
There was a couple of 3 cut down days. So your final roster is the Sunday, the 30th. So that's a couple of days after that last game for them. But then you got 2 full weeks to practice with your guys at that point.
Yeah, and
some teams don't. I mean, there's the Wednesday night starting game this year and the Thursday, but the Chiefs will have the longest time.
Yeah, and
because they play on Monday night.
And as we've seen before, people who make that final cut don't always make the team.
That's right. You make the cut.
Other people make cuts. If you remember, was it Hard Knocks? Yeah, 2007. Bobby Scipio was the late camp ad, and he makes the team. And there's that shot of him on the field at Arrowhead calling his dad to say, I made the team. I made the team. And then somebody else came open. I can't think of who it was that came open. They got cut, and they signed him and had to cut Scipio. We're like,
you got your moment.
But you have to know going into that moment that it could be temporary.
Yeah. Hey, it's all temporary in the NFL.
Yeah, we're all day to day.
Yeah, it is definitely a day-to-day game on that front. So we get to watch this game, and we'll talk a lot about it as we go throughout today. But one thing we should talk a little bit about is this news broke about 3 hours ago, Field of Dreams game.
Yeah.
The Royals are going to be the host of the Field of Dreams game next year, August 12th, which is a Thursday night against the Red Sox. This game happened last night this year. And last night this year was Philly and the Twins, so Philadelphia won the game. But this is a very exciting thing. When your team hasn't been all that great, and you have so many baseball fans who are around this area who maybe have been or haven't been up to the Field of Dreams to see Dyersville, Iowa, and see it, I think there will be a monstrous amount of Royals fans who will be fired up to go watch this game
for sure
and make a little trip up there. So that's a pretty neat thing for the Royals as their schedule. They gave us the schedule, a couple of weeks ago for the 27 season, and now they've got this worked in there. So
was there an open spot there?
I think they were probably off on the Thursday.
Yeah.
And then now they play on the Thursday and they're off on the Friday because they're going to be off on Friday. They play Thursday, off Friday, and they're home Saturday, Sunday. So it's just it's a 3-game series in 4 days, which they've gotten kind of used to doing that this year. They've had a couple of those.
Philadelphia
with the
they had one
with the Philly with the World Cup here.
Yeah.
Cardinals series was that way, and Philadelphia was that way.
Yeah, that's what it was.
So listen, they'll get it figured out and go do it. So that'll be fun. We don't, you can't buy any tickets yet or anything like that, but they will go quickly. I promise you that.
I saw somebody, a friend of mine, text thread where we kind of grouse about sports and other things. He said someone posted that tweet about the game, and they said, "I can't wait to see one of our tradable asset pitchers lose that game."
That's not very nice.
It's funny though, and it's damn possible. Well said, Michael Wacha. Royals didn't trade because we're
going to compete.
We're 5 under 500 and 8 games out of the wild card, but we think we got a shot. We're going to keep Michael.
Yeah,
we'll see
for sure. But that game is Thursday, the 12th, and it's the fourth time they played it. They played it for a couple years and they didn't do it, and now it's back this year. And here's your little tidbits. See if you remember. I remember some of these, not all of these, but this is the according to Kurt Nelson. Who is our friend? Who's the Royals Hall of Fame?
He's the curator of the Royals Hall of Fame. He knows more about Royals history than
this will be the third neutral site game in history. I remember the one that they had last, which they played in Omaha, and it was to kick off the College World Series. So they played it downtown Omaha at the TD Ameritrade Park, and I remember because I think I think it was the play. I think Nicky Lopez hit a home run in that game, and it was maybe his first home run. It's like, is he ever going to home run in a major league ballpark? And I think he eventually
I do remember
did,
that. Yeah,
or something. But before that, in their first season, they played a game against the White Sox at Milwaukee's County Stadium as a part of an agreement to play the White Sox would play an American League team there. Because at that point in '69. The Brewers didn't exist, right? So
no, they were still in Seattle.
They were in Seattle. That was the Pilots, and they moved there. So they were getting some games there.
Whenever I go out on Tuesdays to cover the team, and generally I spend the entire night sitting in the second row of the press box talking to Kurt Nelson.
Mm-hmm.
And that popped up, I guess. We're like, what was that all about? And he's like, oh, it's so-and-so and so-and-so. So he knew. How did you get that from him? He's not on Twitter.
It was just on the Royals release.
Oh, okay.
They credited Kurt Nelson on the Royals release.
Well, they should. I didn't know if maybe because we get texts. I get texts from him all the time. But
or you think Kurt was texting behind your back?
No,
he was not. Curtis, you're okay.
No, I wouldn't care. He has other friends.
But the game is going to be on NBC Sports stuff, so it won't be on Netflix. So I don't know if that'll be Peacock or NBC or whatever.
Somebody posted something. Someone who I guess researches these things. It was the first home run hit on every broadcast network ever, because Kyle Schwarber hit the first home run ever on Netflix.
Yeah,
it's kind of fun. There are 12 different ones: CBS, NBC, ABC, ESPN, Fox, TBS, FS1, YouTube, Peacock, Apple TV, Roku, and Netflix.
God, there was just a Roku game, wasn't there?
The first Roku home run ever, Tyler O'Neill.
Yeah,
I think there was anybody of really notable.
Kyle Schwarber's notable.
Let's see. Yeah. Fred McGriff hit the first home run ever on Fox.
Yeah.
Sam Horn hit the first home run ever on ESPN.
Missouri quarterback.
Yep.
Different guy. Different guy. Same name. Different guy. Also a baseball player.
Different race. Different decade. The first home run ever hit on NBC, Jackie Robinson.
Oh, how about that?
And the first home run ever hit on CBS was Andy Pafko.
This goes down to, I did a Chumps question about this at one point. It was like the number of stadiums. It's like Sammy Sosa had hit a home run or something, and he had gotten to hit a home run at like the Wide World of Sports place down in Orlando because they had a series and all that. So this will be Bobby, Salvi, Cags, these guys' chance to, because you're not going to play there all the time. This will be your chance to hit a home run in an official Major League Baseball game at a stadium like that. And Bobby hit a home run at Steinbrenner Field last year for Tampa, so he's probably not going to have a chance to do that again. So you got that. Now, he did not get one in Sacramento when they played the A's, because I don't think he has one there. That would have been your chance. That's going to be over as well. You'll get those chances to do that, because we've had some weird little things happen. And this somewhat recently, that the games in Sacramento, Field of Dreams game.
The Athletics come here, but they're done playing.
Yeah, they already played out there. Yeah, I don't think he had a home run out there. They're coming here this next week. Yeah, and then soon they'll be in Vegas, so have a chance to hit a home run there. And
it is kind of fun.
So you think, there's only 30 baseball parks now. They play in some places.
Yes.
And like that one, the Royals had an official game at TD Ameritrade Field in Omaha, so they had a real live game there. So I don't remember. I think Nicky Lopez hit a home run in that game. Now he's not someone who's going to hit a home run in 50 ballparks.
Probably not.
Probably not.
Maybe hit in 5 ballparks.
Maybe 5 or something like that. But I think Salvi, the only place that is a regular old ballpark that he hasn't, I think, is Nationals. I don't think he's hit a home run there. And
we check his splits and we'll find out.
I think I looked him up, and I don't think he's hit a home run there. And they haven't played Washington yet this year. Are they going there this year or not? Now you'll have a lot of guys who will hit a home run in all the ballparks, because you play everybody every year. So every other year you're going to be in one of these ballparks until they mess the schedule up again and do something different. But
there are three ballparks that are listed in which he has played but not
hit a home run.
Nationals Park. That's the most at bat. He had 27 plate appearances. He did have 7 hits but no homers. Turner Field in Atlanta, which is no longer there.
Yep.
And Steinbrenner Field in Tampa, which is also no longer there.
Yeah.
He's hit 1 home run each at Sutter Health Park.
That's Sacramento, right? Yeah.
The New Rangers Ballpark, SunTrust in Atlanta, PNC in Pittsburgh, and the Great American Ballpark in Cincy.
Yeah. So he's got a chance to get on another, but he can't go back to Turner Field.
No.
Turner Field is a football stadium now for Georgia State or somebody
Something
like
like
that.
that.
Yeah, they turned it into a
It's
football
wild.
field.
There's a shot, like an aerial shot, of while the Georgia Dome was still up, and you could see
all of it.
Turner Field and the other two. They're
Constructing,
all in one shot. And like, stuff happened in Atlanta.
I went to a game at Turner Field, like the very first year it was
Did you?
open.
Really?
Yeah, I was there on business when I was out of the business. We were there on business. We just got to go over there, and it wasn't even all completely done yet because remember it was the Olympic Stadium.
So
Then they cut the end off,
and
was
the first year. That
they
played.
turned it into, so it was not entirely finished when I went to a game there because it was spring of that first year. But I did go to a game there, and now it's already gone.
It's amazing.
It's gone.
30 years. They don't mess around.
I guess I'll get to Globe Life sometime and see a game there. But I went to both of those other Texas games, Texas stadiums for a game. So
I've not been to many ballparks.
You've been to the K.
I've been to, I think, more football stadiums than I have baseball stadiums.
Yeah. I've just been to some, not always on purpose, but sometimes you're somewhere if you're on a trip or vacation or something, go watch it. The only reason I went to the old ballpark at Arlington, they took us at Big 12 Media Days once.
Oh, really?
We went down there and they said, we're going to take everyone to, get on the bus. We'll take you over there. So we went to a game. And I think we actually went down there once. We took some listeners.
Oh, wow.
With Vanguard Airlines, with these Vanguard flyaways.
Cool.
I've never seen the Royals or anyone there. Just
Soldier
games.
Field, Candlestick, Giant Stadium. That was 90, 91, 92.
Can't see that anymore.
Saw a game at
Can't go to Candlestick anymore.
Saw a game at the TWA Dome, 97.
Yeah. Won't be watching an NFL game in that anymore.
Soldier Field in 03.
Soldier Field's different now.
Superdome in 04. Here.
Yeah.
We went down. I think that's it.
Yeah.
I don't think I've been to a road game since then.
You got to get on the road, Kurtis. You've got to get on the road. We are underway here on the program. We'll take a break, come back and talk some football, some National Football League, some Rams, some Chiefs with Jordan Foote. That's coming up next. We still have Danny Unleashed. We have a 1-bit drill right now. 2 bits, 1 bit. How many bits we got?
We got 2 bits.
We got 2 bits in the drill right now. We've got Pete Sweeney coming up in the 5 o'clock hour. Welcome back into the program. Todd Leabo in for Soren Petro. Jordan Foote joins us now on the program. Did you request that music, Jordan, or did Kyle just set that up for you? Is that Jordan Foote's music?
Never heard that before.
I gotta love it. Yeah, I come on with Shane Dennis in Wichita on Tuesdays, and one day that just popped up as my music. So now anytime that plays, it means it's time for me to come spew some stuff on the radio.
That's exactly right.
Strong.
Yeah, we love it. We love it. Jordan writes chief stuff for SI, and it's part of KC Sports Network, all that stuff. And we appreciate you spending some time with us today, Jordan. We've talked a lot the last couple of days about, I don't know, what to look for, what to not look for in this game, because it's going to be a kind of an oddball game as the Chiefs play the Rams tomorrow at 3 o'clock. It's kind of a mystery right now who's going to be playing in this game. But if like, we know Patrick Mahomes isn't going to play. But other than that, who would you like to see how they're doing in this game, even if it's someone who probably won't play in the game, because Andy's been very coy about who's going to play?
Yeah, there are so many options that could go the opposite way, and there are even players down to Jeffrey Bassa, who was out for a little bit and then came back, and you really would like to see where he's at, assuming he is good to go, especially with Drew Tranquill still working his way back at training camp. And players that should see the field, I think that the Cyrus Allen hype train, and I'm sure we'll probably chat about him a little bit more in a moment, he hasn't played himself out of being ready for the preseason. That fifth-round rookie is not going to be watching from the sidelines. Khalil Benson is a name that I absolutely have an eye on, and really the number one glaring issue is Mansour Delane, but he isn't going to be there. He got out of that non-contact jersey for the 10-10-10 practice, probably still at least a week away from being ready for full contact in a game, if at all, this preseason. So most of the players that are hurt are either veterans that probably don't need the reps, say L'Jarius Sneed, a Trey Smith, or they're guys like Bassa who have already been working their way back into the fold and also could definitely use some reps on tape.
I think linebacker is an interesting spot because Drew Tranquill, as you mentioned, has been hurt. He's certainly not going to play. Nick Bolton is a little bit hurt the other day as well, and he may fall into that category of, hey, he's a veteran, he's not going to play anyway. They don't have like 15 linebackers in camp, so someone's got to go play linebacker, and a lot of these guys need the reps, and people need to see who they are. What do you just think about that position this year, where we are in camp right now?
I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It does have the potential to be very underwhelming, especially as Drew Tranquill enters probably his last year as a Chief and took the pay cut to come back. If he can have a little bit more of that athleticism back, which is tough to predict because he is another year older now, that would be a boost. But it seems like that Sam linebacker role has really flown under the radar this offseason because everyone wants to see who's defensive end number 2, who's defensive end number 3, who the wide receivers 4, 5, and 6 are, what happens at cornerback. They sneakily lost Leo Chenal in his playmaking. They need a guy who can play stout football against the run, set the edge, do a little bit of work in coverage, and I'm of the opinion that Jeffrey Bassa needs to be out there in terms of his development, but Cooper McDonald is a much more natural fit for that role. Those two have been going head-to-head throughout the offseason, but it seems like every news clipping, press conference, training camp clip on tape on social media, that's been going the other way. So between Jeffrey and Cooper, those two are going head-to-head. Jack Cochran has been getting tons of praise, as he usually does, from Steve Spagnuolo. Cole Christensen still in the mix. Like, it's not a great list of options for that primary rotation. There are a couple of undrafted players as well who deserve some reps, but there is a third spot up for grabs that they're going to need to fill, let's say, 40-45% of snaps this year, and I think that they're going to get a pretty clear answer over the next couple of weeks who that player is going to be.
I've been telling people, get your internet out when you're watching this game because you're going to see some guys out there, you're like, who's that again? What's this about? And it's going to be a little earlier in the game than you normally would. That's generally the case along about 5:30 for a game that starts at 3 o'clock. You got to figure out who this guy is. And I mean, I've been up there watching practice, and I may still be at some point. Now, which one is that one there? Because that's just how it's going to be early in this game, and that's fine. I want to watch these guys, the rookies who they drafted, play, and I think they will play. I don't know if Peter Woods is going to play just because of the little ankle injury he had, but I really cannot wait to watch him go up against someone else because we've all been very impressed with what we've seen. If he ends up being healthy from what we've seen so far, is this a chance this could be like a really good steal of the draft for the Chiefs to get someone that late who maybe could be elite? I mean, there's a lot of buzz around him right now.
I think so, absolutely. And even as somebody who was not super, super high on the pick in general in round one, the value they got him for, the upside is there. You pair that with the flexibility created perhaps to move on from Chris Jones maybe a year earlier than you wanted to. Things like that can have a ripple effect on the franchise. Let's say that Kairos Tonga is who the Chiefs expect him to be, a really good early down, run-stuffing, penetrating, kind of two-gapping nose tackle. They have a ton of flexibility now where they're not relying on Omar Norman Lott to get the job done. They can throw Peter Woods on the edge if they want to. They can move Chris Jones outside maybe to counteract an underwhelming defensive end rotation. And Peter Woods, just a very stout, insane athlete for his size, very strong, very explosive. He's passing, I always call it the press conference test of the guy coming up there, and you can just sense whether he gets it. He seems to do it. Football-loving guy, the coaching staff, both sides of the ball, offense and defensive line, have had nothing but good things to say about him. So as soon as he does get out there in a preseason game, you could apply some of this, maybe dialed back to a 5 or a 6, to R. Mason Thomas, the second-round pick from Oklahoma. But they have young, intriguing defensive linemen. They need probably one of them to stand out and deliver some legitimate reps this year. And I think that they did improve the interior. Peter Woods, no doubt, Leabo, is a really big part of that.
Yeah, I'm excited about him. And he got kind of blown up on a screenplay. Wasn't exactly... You learn, you get out on the screenplays, and it was just not a play that looked like it should hurt his ankle, but he just got kind of twisted a little funny. What I liked about it, though, I happened to have my binoculars as I was up there in the tent looking right at the contact when it happened, and he stayed down. I'm like, oh, boy, this kid's down, but he did not, leave the field. They came out and looked at him real quick. He went right back and stayed on the field. So that's the kind of toughness you want from guys. I've watched enough practice to know that sometimes someone gets a little dinged up, and then they're over there, and then they're in the injury tent, and they're going up the hill. I like the toughness. And if you're a rookie, even if you're a first-round draft pick, I mean, if you're an undrafted player, you better jump back up and get in the huddle. But a first-round draft pick who jumps back up and fights his way through the practice, that showed me a lot about the kid. I mean, that's what you need to see from these young players.
1,000%. And on top of that, the residual effect, whatever the optics are, of Patrick Mahomes rushing over to him, as soon as he saw him come down, this entire team, they understand what he could be in the future, what he is right now. This isn't your typical 29th overall pick. The first round of the 2026 draft has the potential, even with the trade up for Mansour Delane, to be similar to that 2022 franchise and defense resetting haul, where you get a really, really good top 5 type of corner, super impactful defensive lineman, and Peter Woods' ceiling for as solid as George Karlaftis has been at the defensive end spot. That's the entire projection with Peter Woods, is ceiling. Chris Jones replacement, all pro, like Tyrann Mathieu going on podcasts and talking about him. The upside with him is legitimate. He is tough as nails. He seems to be super smart. The athleticism, everything with the entire package, it comes down to whether he can be consistent in his role. And I think the benefit for him is this year, if he gets on the field, it's going to be good to get the reps, but he doesn't necessarily need to a ton. He can be a situational pass rusher, a designated guy, which is good for him. And I think going to be really good for the Chiefs as he kind of goes through his rookie year. We
are talking to Jordan Foote. He writes about the Chiefs on SI. It's the Chiefs on SI, and you've got your 5 bold predictions out there. One of those is about the right tackle position. This is a weird one because Khalil Benson, the undrafted rookie out of Indiana, was playing first-team right tackle some, and then they're kind of going back and forth with Jalen Moore. And then Trey Smith comes up with his hip deal, and they put Benson in there, and Moore is there. I haven't quite figured out exactly how they're working what's going to go down there. I'm also a little bit concerned that Trey Smith has not been back out there.
Whenever you use the word specialist, it's
And he said it's no big deal. It's no big deal. Nothing to see here.
But it's a specialist.
I want to see him on the practice field on Monday for sure, because Trey Smith is one of those dogs who he practices and plays and all that. He needs to be told not to play. But this has been pretty interesting. Why do you feel that Jalen Moore will be the guy who pulls away at right tackle?
It is the single most confusing thing, and I'm glad you used that phrasing about this training camp. And we've seen it before for, let's say, a week, 4 days of practice. Once the pads come on, it usually fades away, where player X is getting rotation in with the ones, or somebody gets hurt and this guy's thrust into the lineup. And it's not like Khalil Benson has been absolutely dominating the competition. He didn't look great at right tackle. He's looked better at right guard by all accounts. But the combination of circumstance and Jalen Moore maybe not being quite as good as the kind of billing when the offseason started. It's not like Jalen Moore is a top flight or clearly above average starting right tackle in the NFL. I still think that he's a better player at this stage, and there are 18.68 million reasons for him to be the starting right tackle of the Kansas City Chiefs this year. But Khalil Benson, he probably is cementing that roster spot if Chu Godric is getting the international pathway exemption again. Esapole can be over on the left side is where he's being developed. Ethan Driscoll, that ship potentially has sailed. The Chiefs keep bringing in developmental competition for him along the offensive line. And Benson is a massive human being, 6'6", almost 35-inch arms, 320 pounds, really impressive athletic profile. So it's not to discount him and say that he can't win it. I know that Nate Taylor of ESPN had a really good piece about why Benson can be the present and or the future at right tackle, but at the very least, Moore, it still is his job in my opinion, but Benson, he's definitely pushing for and or has almost locked up a spot on the 53.
The wild thing, and I don't know if this is good or bad, I've been telling people, I've been choosing to think it's a good thing that Khalil Benson was getting first-team reps at right tackle and then first-team reps at right guard, because maybe the ship has sailed on some of these guys who they picked a few years ago who were interior linemen or whatever. And at this point, you know, the future is now. So I'll say it's a good thing. But I can see how you could tell me it's a bad thing that someone who didn't get drafted this year is playing in front of people who you drafted yourselves and have had in your system for a couple of years, especially at that interior position. Are you calling Khalil Benson good news or bad news right now?
I think it's a little bit of bad news. I didn't even think about your logic of it, though. Like, if C.J. Hansen has been a backup interior lineman for a few years now, he didn't make the 53 to start last year. Let's say he is out of the picture. Hunter Norzad, maybe he plays into it as a guard center. Perhaps they view Mike Caliendo as that super do-it-all interior piece, and they really want to lean into the tackle guard swing ability instead of the guard center swing ability, and Benson can do something like that. He'd be a really good fit as that developmental piece. And when you're getting this UDFA haul or a 6th-round pick or a 7th-round pick, I don't think it's bad optics to turn those guys over year. The Chiefs have drafted guys higher, and then they end up not making the team and ending up somewhere else and not panning out. So those optics aren't bad. I do think that the Trey Smith injury adds some intrigue to the mix, and the specialist thing, like Kurtis said, that's just really, really weird for Andy to do that. He hasn't used the dreaded day-to-day label for him yet or anything like that, but Benson continuing to get reps is a good thing. It's the context of those reps that I'm not sure people can feel super good about in mid-August.
All right, Jordan, we know Patrick's not going to play today, and I think I kind of agree with that. I don't think he's going to play this preseason. Okay. Now, I personally, I think I've seen Justin Fields play a lot of football in the NFL under multiple coaches and multiple systems. I've watched him with my eyes up at camp play under this system against his own team, and I don't know if I need to see much Justin Fields in my life. Okay, that's just me. Maybe I'm just totally wrong about this whole thing. I would like to see a whole lot more Garrett Nussmeier. I don't think he's going to have the first team line in front of him. He's not going to have Kenneth Walker to hand the ball off to. He's kind of in a position to fail here. I don't. If he looks good, I'll be surprised tomorrow. against the Rams. Now, the Rams aren't planning one against him or anything, but how much do you need to see much more Justin Fields in your life? Where are you on the Justin Fields spectrum?
I've been in that spot for a couple of years now, frankly. Once Justin Fields, that whole starting experiment withered away, and then once the Jets signed him, I was like, okay, I really have seen enough Justin Fields for a couple of lifetimes, and it's nothing against him as a player, but he just kind of is who he is at this point. And the Chiefs invested draft capital in him to acquire him via trade. He's probably the best backup they've had for Patrick Mahomes for an extended period of time. The Gardner Minshew thing ended up playing and seeing a little bit more of him than they had hoped for, but a solid pickup nonetheless. Chris Oladokun, we know who he is. He's also got regular season snaps at the end of last year. I am intrigued by Nussmeier, and it's not one of those things where they spent a early day 3 pick on him, but there is something to avoiding the UDFA process, going to get your guy using 2 draft picks to get quarterbacks this offseason. The Chiefs clearly wanted to have competition, have depth, have quality in that. And Nussmeier, if not for the medical concerns coming into the draft, that was chalked up as the primary reason he slid so far. His talent coming into the year, people were pegging him as a first-round pick and saying this guy is one of the best QB prospects in that draft. So Nuss, regardless of who he's throwing to, regardless of who he is handing the ball off to, who is blocking for him, and he does get a tough draw against the Rams team that top to bottom just has a really impressive roster. But I will be keeping an eye on him, and probably a under-discussed part of this matchup on Saturday.
All right, so we know we're not going to see Kenneth Walker run either. Who should be RB2 for the Chiefs?
It's got to be DeMercado. And Emmett Johnson, very big fan of his profile. I think that he should very clearly be RB3, and if Brashard Smith holds on as a return specialist, then that's fantastic. And Johnson probably has a bright future in the Chiefs offense, a legitimate RB2 type of ceiling. But DeMercado, the pass protection chops that he brings, he totally understands it. It's a matter of staying on the field for him and getting opportunity, because you go look at pretty much any page that shows basic or advanced stats, his per carry numbers are pretty wicked. Like, he is a chunk run waiting to happen. The pass blocking on top of that can catch the ball just a little bit. They're not going to have a 1-2 punch or anything like that. Kenneth Walker was paid a ton of money. He's healthy coming into the year. That is all fine and dandy, but DeMercado, if he gets reps in this one and the next time he sees the field in general, that is kind of one of those top players that I think, again, there's a ton of Chiefs. We focus so much on wide receiver, cornerback, defensive end, these outside guys. Running back is sneakily kind of a fun possibility for the Chiefs, because they might have 3 players on the team right now that could have been better than any of the ones that they had at any point last season.
I'm counting right now. I think there are 13, maybe 14 people on the roster, obviously early, but who are labeled wide receivers. Is there any one of them that you could look at and say, I know what we're going to get out of this guy this year? And how big a problem is that if the answer is no?
I kind of lean that you know what you're going to get out of Rashee Rice, and that's injury dependent and assuming, and it's a fairly big assumption based on what we've seen at camp, and maybe he has progressed a little bit every day. But role-wise, when on the field, he's going to be that short range, behind the line of scrimmage, within 10 yards of the line, volume guy. Beyond that, though, Tyquan Thornton, high variance targets last year. He has to prove that he can replicate it. Xavier Worthy, is he closer to rookie year, dialed up to 11, or is he last season? Jalen Royals, big X factor. I would almost say, and it's going to sound bad, that we kind of know they won't get a ton from him, but it's difficult to completely write off a 4th rounder that was met with such praise in just his 2nd year. Outside of that, Cyrus Allen, the hype train, is fun to see. We'll see what happens in the regular season. Nico Remigio, I suppose you know precisely what you're getting out of him, but again, it's not super inspiring when you're scraping the barrel for Remigio or Andrew Armstrong or even a Jason Brownlee, Jimmy Holiday. It's not great times to be a depth piece as a Chiefs wide receiver.
I just wish that Brashard Smith would take Nico Remigio's position as the returner and all that, and they could concentrate on something better at wide receiver. I honestly think Brashard Smith might be a better wide receiver than Nico Remigio. He played wide receiver in college before he moved to running back. I just don't think he fits as an NFL running back. But
and maybe there's a little bit of value in having the gadget player back in an Andy Reid offense and taking a little bit off of Xavier Worthy's plate. And Worthy did go on record and say that he couldn't run a lot of the stuff that he and the Chiefs had in mind a season ago. So maybe they get back to putting the ball in his hands in different ways. But I'm with you. If Brashard Smith could be, whether it's a gadget player or a straight-up transition back to wideout, Nico Remigio isn't a good enough returner by the stats or the eye test or most people's opinions that he should keep a more explosive, higher upside player off the roster. And even with Brashard Smith struggling as a halfback, he does have the receiver background. He did produce in that role. Perhaps that does make a little bit more sense.
Jalen Royals is really a guy who I think is starting to become something of a frustration maybe for Andy Reid. I know last year it wasn't even a day 1 or day 2 pick, but he was a 4th round pick, as you mentioned, and he was quite often a healthy scratch last year.
Mm-hmm.
Every time Sunday we're doing the pregame show, and I'm like, let's check out the inactives up. Jalen Royals inactive. I mean, he was almost like a rumor at some point, and it wasn't Thursday. It may have been Monday, and maybe it was last week. Somebody was asked, he'd had a nice day in camp. He says, well, yeah, that's good that he had a nice day. Nice to see that, and he's working on that. But thing is, what do you do next? What do you do tomorrow? You got to start stacking these days. It sounds like to me that's something of a revealing comment from Reid, in that, he shows some flashes, but the problem he has is that he can't put those days together.
It's not great.
No,
I mean he's ended up catching 2 balls last year. That's all he caught, so not quite good enough. Jordan Foote is our guest here. I'm going to ask you a little bit about defense. We already talked about some of the linebacker things in Peter Woods, but defensive back, Mansour Delane, you mentioned he got the yellow jersey off, but it was just a 10-10-10 practice. Now, I don't think they took the yellow jersey off and are going to put it back on him on Monday, but he's got to play. He's got to practice at some point here. They got a lot invested in this guy. Are you scared yet about him, or you think this is all just easing him in and it's all going to be okay? And this will be just a little footnote of his career that he didn't participate in, training camp, basically.
I was scared for him the second they announced he was the draft pick. And next to none of it is his fault. Just observing how the media cycle goes and the fan base operates, like he legitimately has to be a Pro Bowl level corner next season, if not one of the top 15, 20 corners this season. Like, he has to be your undoubted number 1 lockdown corner almost out of the gate to justify passing on investing in the wide receiver position, getting Reuben Bain. And maybe there is a world where multiple of the wide receivers that went early first round don't turn out to be good, or Bain doesn't turn out to be good. Perhaps that's true, but Mansour Delane, he has to pop out of the gate, and you add in a mysterious shoulder injury that got described multiple times as a shoulder blade issue, which isn't typically brought up in GM, head coach, defensive coordinator kind of descriptions. And Brett Veach seemed optimistic that he'd be full go in 7 or 8 days, and that was 5-6 days ago. So that time is coming, and I'm with you, Leabo. I'd be surprised if they put the jersey back on him and said, okay, you're back to being, coddled a little bit coming into preseason game number 2. But at a certain point, you absolutely do have to simply get out on the field, rough up someone that isn't your own teammate, and a Rashee Rice and a Jalen Royals who turn slow, don't have the burst off the line of scrimmage. We need to see you against premier talent or explosive talent or opposing talent, something that isn't St. Joe at Missouri Western State University. And that's asking a lot for, let alone a first-year player, one that is entering such a pressure-packed environment. And it's not like they have consistency elsewhere. Sure, Noah Williams is coming back. Sure, Chamari Connor is technically familiar with the safety spot and is at a position he feels good at. But Kader Kohu is in the mix. Jaden Kennedy is in the mix. Alohi Gilman is brand new to the team. Like, they have multiple moving pieces in the secondary. They don't have an elite pass rush to counteract some of that in the defensive backfield. So it is a ton to ask for a player in his very first year, which isn't fair, but it definitely is the reality that they found themselves in.
We are talking to Jordan Foote. He writes about the Chiefs for SI and KC Sports Network. Now, I know you're a big Rams fan as well. Okay, so you love your Rams, and this is not going to be a real Rams team we get to see playing here. But when Trent McDuffie got traded to the Rams, was this a good day, bad day? How did this work for you?
I wasn't shocked. I figured it was the Rams part that I was very surprised by. And then when they doubled up and got Jalen Watson on a deal that, frankly, I thought the Chiefs could have and should have matched. Like, that was a very, very solid. He basically got, was it Charvarius Ward that left a few summers ago? And that happened. Basically a similar type of development with him. I was forward. And then you add in the Myles Garrett of it all. I get we're going in on this year, but also to get your biggest weakness from the NFC title game and really the season as a whole, completely address it during the offseason where you're not relying on Manny Forbes to be cornerback one, week one. Very shocking. And McDuffie, it's one of those things where he got paid a contract that he's probably going to end up being worth, but with how the Chiefs were using him and planning to use him, not sure he fully would have justified it. And I totally get that at a certain point you have to consider how many big contracts you have, how much flexibility you have and don't have. So maybe a win-win for both sides in the long run, but it's always tough when a team loses a really impressive player. And I was certainly shocked at the destination on that.
Yeah, it was a big trade for sure. And the Chiefs need to make sure these draft picks who they drafted come through. And as you mentioned, the Mansour Delane, when they traded up and all that stuff. So they got a lot riding on this draft. If it's anywhere close to the draft they had after the Tyreek Hill trade in 22, it'll be a success. I can't imagine it could be as good as that draft because there were more players drafted that time too. But they have a lot riding on this, and we got a long way to know whether or not it worked out or not. Jordan, before we let you go, time for our final four here on the program. And let's start out with, we're putting you on the record here. It's October 14th. It's no big deal. But tell me what the Chiefs' record is going to be in the regular season this year.
They seem like the most obvious 11-6 team that whether they win the division or not, 10-11, but I'll put my money on 11.
11 wins for the Chiefs. That'll make them, they'll be a playoff team, right? It's not going to be some wild AFC year. So that'll be back in the playoffs. Who will lead the Chiefs in receiving yards this year?
It'll be Rashee Rice. If he plays every game, and even if he doesn't, I still am pretty confident it'll be him.
We were about 500 yards different yesterday on our predictions between five people. So we're hot and cold in this room on Rashee Rice. So we're not sure how that's going to go. Who's going to be the NFL MVP this season?
Oh, man, that is a tough one. May isn't going to do it. I don't trust Herbert. Stafford can't repeat. I knew it was going to be something like this. I'll go maybe even Patrick Mahomes. If the Chiefs do make the playoffs and he throws for, let's say, 4,035 touchdowns, 10 picks, that might just be enough, especially with the maybe voter fatigue with Lamar and Josh Allen. I'll lean Mahomes ever so slightly and double that with a comeback player of the year.
Get it all right there. And then finally, the Royals are going to play in the Field of Dreams next year. Will you investigate what it might look like to go take that trip there? I'm not asking if you're definitely going to go, but would you like to go watch the Royals in the Field of Dreams game next year?
I have a text, and I could even post it online. When that news came out, I texted a good buddy of mine and said, we are in there. So 1,000% interested and likely going to end up making that trip if I could. Absolutely.
Should be a lot of fun. Jordan, it was a lot of fun to talk to you. Thank you for helping us out on this Friday. Good stuff. And we'll have people follow you on Twitter and go read you at SI. Good stuff, man.
Likewise. Thank you, guys.
All right. That's Jordan Foote. Good information there. Good guy. And we'll see how that goes. Mahomes for MVP? Why not? Someone's got to win.
It's possible.
Someone's got to win. It's wide open this year. We'll see how it goes. All right, we'll take a break here. I haven't seen Danny yet. Is Danny here? Is he going to get unleashed? Is he around? I haven't seen my man in a while. He better be here. You check base with him, Kyle? He's not.
He'll be here
Overseas or something, is he?
I told him like Wednesday. Okay. Todd's in the host chair.
And he didn't go, oh my God. Like
okay.
Sam McDowell would be like, I'm not coming in. Danny will be here. We'll do that at 3 o'clock. Back at it here for a quick one here at the end of the hour. Todd Leabo in for Soren Petro. Has anyone heard from Petro today? Did the move go all right? It's not 150 degrees.
Questions for there can be only one, and he still hasn't gotten back.
Get an answer back. What would he do if he sent questions you didn't answer him immediately?
I think
if we sent him to Kurtis when he was on his day off, Kurtis still hasn't gotten back.
Yeah.
Well, Kurtis is asleep.
No, sometimes like the last time I was out on a Thursday, I was down doing
you were doing work,
business journal event.
But your week off, you probably weren't awake at 11 a.m.
Not at 11, no.
No,
I'm definitely not awake at 11.
Good Lord, no, not at 11. What
but at 3
world do you think I'm living in? 11
awake
o'clock.
at 3.
I would never sleep till 3.
I know.
What's the latest you ever slept?
It's hard to say. Like from overnight?
Yeah.
Probably 2.
2?
Yeah. Yeah.
Never in my life.
I've gotten up at like 10, gone back to bed at 1 and slept till 3.
Danny is here. He's unleashed next.
All right, 2 men have played in at least 500 games for both the Royals and Angels. Name either one. Brought to you by Twin Peaks.
Every once in a while, we have to bring out the big dog.
Yeah.
Oh, God help us. It's time for Danny Unleashed. Sponsored by Easton Roofing, where integrity matters. Go to eastonroofing.com for more.
Welcome back in to the program. I'm Todd Leabo in for Soren Petro. Kurtis Seaboldt is here. Kyle Collier's here. Thunderdome is here. Who's is Sterling still back there making you laugh?
Nah, he went home.
What's he doing? Is he bothering you?
He had a podcast because Drake done do that.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
By the way,
He didn't get it done.
while we're still hearing the echoes of the David Lee Roth version of Van Halen, I'm here with two musically minded people.
Danny Klingscale is here. I didn't get to say that.
Yes.
We found
here.
him.
I'm here also.
They were talking
I
on
was
the
here when you were asking if I was here.
Yeah, I knew you were here.
they were talking on the
Want to make
previous
sure
show
you're listening.
about the Gary Sharon era of Van Halen.
It was one album.
To which I texted him, I said, there was no Van Halen 3. There was Gary Sharon singing with three guys from Van Halen.
Gary Sharon.
I don't put him, he's not
No
one,
songs
2, and
on
3.
there are
It's
worth
like Godfather
anything.
3. They made it, but it's, we don't look at it. We look at the other two first.
Gary Sharon is and will always be Wholehearted. What was the name of that
True.
band? What was that band?
Extreme?
Extreme. More than words.
With no E?
More than words.
Or maybe it was an E.
A couple of E's in there, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
3s.
a lot E's are everywhere.
E's. Easy E's.
Nuno Betancourt playing guitar.
He was good.
Nuno.
He could play.
Nuno.
I liked Extreme. I like those songs.
Yeah.
Those
Yeah,
Extreme
a couple
songs.
of
They were good.
There are a couple
Yeah.
songs.
They were good.
Hey, you can make a couple songs. It's like, you played in the NFL. You played in the NFL.
Yeah.
You played in the NFL.
Yeah.
You'd rather be a one or two hit wonder than a no hit wonder.
Yes.
You'd rather play in one NFL game or
That's a big thing
get
for
a
me,
cup of
too.
coffee in Major League
I
Baseball.
think if you have two big hits, you probably can make a living for quite a while.
As long as you wrote those and had good management.
Yeah.
Right. No, but I mean, you can
Yeah.
probably take them out on the road for a while, even
And
if you end up at, which is a fine place to go, like Knuckleheads or whatever.
Make some money.
Those side venues.
How hard do you have to work for that money?
Yeah.
Is your
Right.
song working for you? Or are you out there working that song? That's
Yeah.
the thing.
That's true.
And,
There's
and
a-
if you only had one, I mean, that's one of those things. You mentioned
had
the
one.
sports things. Someone, you created something. You sat down with music and words and created this
people
thing.
still sing it.
And somebody else said, you know what? I'll pay you money
Yeah.
to listen to that song anytime I can.
And
I
they'll get it
want.
stuck in their head 35 years later than you won.
Well done, sir.
There's a
Or
lady
ma'am.
who I see on Instagram, TikTok, or whatever. Her name is Liz, the music manager.
Okay.
And she is married. She's young. She's married to Stephen Bishop.
Mm.
On and on.
yeah.
He's not young.
No, he's like 70
He's
something.
been
It's a weird thing. You never
mid-70s.
see his face on here. But she tells stories about how money gets made in the music business. And she'll
That
always
sounds
ask him,
interesting.
Stephen, is it okay if I say this? And he'll off the camera go, yes, it's okay. He doesn't want to be on the camera. But she'll tell stories about how, this song is getting played on Spotify or Sirius XM or Apple and how much money you get from it. She just flat out says the numbers. It's pretty amazing. He had a couple really big songs.
Yeah,
That
big
On
ones.
and On was a big one. And then I watched one of them.
Save It for a Rainy Day
Yes.
was the other big one.
And they got recorded by other people too.
Yes.
So when Phil Collins was on tour in the 80s or 90s or something, he did a cover during concerts of On and On.
Right.
Right? He loved the song. It kind of sounds like a Phil Collins-y song, right? And she's telling the story like he's made like hundreds of thousands of dollars a year from the venues because Phil Collins sings a song in front of 25,000 people. The company that runs, AEG or whatever, Live Nation, they have to pay rights fees if there's a certain number of people in the audience who hear the song or whatever, and you have to have the music manager or the record company or whatever who will go make sure you get that money on this. So even if you had a song that was a one-hit wonder-ish type song, and then Phil Collins goes out and sings it in front of hundreds of thousands of people, you're getting paid on that. Just because it makes sense. Playing it on the radio,
Yes.
you're getting money, you're playing it whatever, and if someone else is singing the song in a venue or something. So it's a very interesting, and then there's no exactly perfect, here's the template of how it works, because everyone's music deal is different.
Right.
Everyone's, did you own the masters,
All we know now is
publishing
it's
and
worse than it's ever been.
all
Mhm.
that. So,
But Stephen Bishop is probably most famous for. Like Kyle, you don't know who Stephen Bishop
No.
is, right?
he doesn't know.
But I bet you do,
Oh,
because have you ever seen Animal House?
I have
Yeah.
not.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe you'd seen Animal House.
I got to put that one on the list.
Stephen Bishop is the guy who John Belushi rips the guitar out
And
of his
smashes
hand
the
and
guitar.
smashes the guitar.
she has the guitar.
That's Stephen Bishop.
Yeah, she has the guitar
Right.
from that. He got it back. Now,
He did a lot of
and
the
he
songs
got
in
paid
that.
like, I don't know, $50 to be in that
Right.
movie. And so I do like seeing these on social media as well. Someone who's an actor, the day they get their royalty checks,
Right.
and they'll be like 8-cent checks or whatever because they were in a movie, Friday the 13th Part 8, and it's on, I almost said TMC. They're not putting Friday the 13th
No, I
Part
don't
8 on TMC, AMC or FXX or something
Right,
like
right.
that. And it appears in, they're a bit part in it, and they'll get this little check in the mail, and they take the tax out and all that stuff. So he's the guy on the stairs,
yep.
and so he gets
And he wrote some songs.
a very small
for-
check
He
every
performed some
time.
of the songs in that movie as well.
He gets a little check for every time Animal House is on TV as well.
His
Anyway.
moments of fame.
Yeah.
That sounds like an interesting thing.
Yeah,
I'd like to
you
wa-
find
I'd like to
Liz,
watch
the
that.
Liz, the music manager. She just puts videos up like every day. And sometimes they're silly stuff, but sometimes you're like, oh, this is how this works. It's interesting.
Stephen Bishop, he's got to be in his 70s,
Yeah,
doesn't he?
I mean, she
74.
looks a lot. I mean, she looks like she's probably in her 30s.
74. They've been married since 2021. Let me see how old she
Oh,
is.
good for him.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
What do you mean? Oh, Liz is not.
She's fine.
She's not a catch.
Not bad for a 74-year-old guy, but
She's a good manager.
I know this much. Danny would look at her and go, not for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
There
She's
you go.
32.
32. Yeah, it's about right. I thought she was about 30-something. So
Wow.
she has a bit of a
I'll still say good for him.
lisp or something, too, so.
Oh.
She's handling his money, though, making sure he gets paid, and she makes, I think they're interesting TikToks. We've probably talked too much about the music
Sounds
industry.
good.
At this
Yeah,
point,
we
but let's talk
often
about
do
a
that.
backup
Let's talk
football
about-
players.
Let's talk about
I don't know.
second string
Let's talk
football
about
players.
second string football.
Let's
yeah.
talk about someone trying to become Stephen Bishop and getting on an NFL roster, making
Right.
one deal. I'm assuming you're cool
They're
with
trying to
Patrick
get
Mahomes
on
not
and
playing.
on the roster.
On and on.
I think that he should play some in the preseason. I do.
Maybe third game he will.
I don't think so, but I think that he should. It's football. Even if he just, throws a couple passes, plays a few, just to get the feeling. Take one hit, something.
I mean, he's down for playing.
I would think so. I don't quite. You know what it is? It's almost like they just don't want to be embarrassed. They don't, it's not even the fact that he could get hurt from a standpoint of, it'd be a disaster if he got hurt. It'd be that they'd have to answer questions about it. Why'd you play him? So it is kind of a no win. Well, it's an easy win for the Chiefs. If he doesn't play, nothing bad can happen, obviously. So, but something bad could happen, like he could be rusty against the Chargers and they could lose. I mean, the Broncos, and they could lose. So I think he should play a little bit, but it's okay if he doesn't. And, I was just over at the chiropractor, and the guy, my usual guy, wasn't there. So the other guy's filling in, and he's excited because his friends have season tickets, and he's never been in a suite, and he's going to the
gonna
game.
go.
He's going to the game tomorrow, and he was all fired up. So,
Listen, it's
great.
They haven't had a game there in a long time. This is the longest stretch they haven't had a Chiefs game in a while because I don't know if you knew this. They didn't make the playoffs last
They
year.
didn't.
It was over a long time ago.
And their last regular season game was on the road.
Yeah, so
The last two,
they
actually.
had a game there since last year.
Yeah, they haven't played since the week 15.
Yeah.
Week
Christmas
16.
night?
Yeah.
Was it the Christmas game with
Well, and also, I
Golden
think
Oakland?
when you have had a bad season, there's probably more interest in the game than there would be usually.
Yeah.
Because ordinarily you're just like, oh well, we're good. This is just a run through. I don't care. Blah, blah. Well, now there's things you got to care about a little bit because the team's got to get better, and some guys have to step forward. And if they don't step forward, the Chiefs aren't going to get better. So. Did you see there was I can't remember if it was The Athletic that did it. It was a pulse check of fans around the NFL and what fans felt best about their team.
Mhm.
And the Chiefs fans won. They really feel like the Chiefs are, them right. They're just going to bounce right back.
Be right back.
I don't
How could it be two bad years in a row, Danny? It couldn't be.
Well, it could be.
Could it?
It could. I'm not going to put I don't think the Chiefs are in the top 5 or 6 teams in my mind that could make the Super Bowl. I wouldn't put them in that category. I'd put them probably just outside that.
How about
Maybe
in the
6
AFC?
to 10. No, I think there's probably at least 3 teams I would put ahead of them.
Right.
At least. Maybe more.
We can see the pathway to, if you said, okay, this team's 14-3 and they're the 1 seed, like it isn't that difficult to kind of, okay, this guy has, Rasheed Rice and Xavier
You have
Worthy
Patrick Mahomes. That's where you
you've got
start.
Mahomes, you've got, 3 for all the defensive draft picks star. I mean, there's a ceiling, but I'm with you. There's so many things on both sides of the ball there, particularly on the defensive side.
I'm going to
that are
go all
just
the way this way, but
that almost unknowns.
It's sort of, it has kind of the feel of, a better entry to a Royals season. Like then when the Royals think they're going to be pretty good, this is sort of how it feels like for the Chiefs this year. Few things have to go better for the Chiefs to really ascend to say 11 wins, like the previous guest said. I probably would lean more like 9-8, 10-7, and I probably would just tip it to 10 just to, because it's the Chiefs and it's Patrick Mahomes. But there's a lot of losable games.
Oh, yeah.
Right,
including the opener.
And then if you get off to a rough start, you don't have confidence.
Well, that's what I'd like to see from them.
Yeah.
I think part of last year was they got off to a bad start, right? They didn't win a couple of close games, and then it just kind of they never quite got that traction, and they were dealing with Rasheed Rice being gone, but then people started getting hurt. And then the Broncos were playing well and winning all of their games and all of those things. And you've heard a couple of these guys now at the podium just reveal a little bit without saying, oh, we were kind of a mess last year. But you heard Travis talk about it a little bit, how, they missed that kind of accountability. And he blamed himself for part of it. We've heard Rasheed Rice talk about how what he's got to get better. And I think he needs to be held accountable for this. This is where you hope that O'Shea and Eric Bieniemy and having some new coaches on offense will have, he said, I got to get better when I know I'm not catching the ball on this route, being more engaged in what you're doing, right? And those things don't show up to everybody who's watching the game in the stands. You might find someone who's going to pick on a player and go, watch this guy run this route. He's not involved at all. That's something you might see on the all 22 or something that someone's going out there doing. But I know when they're in the meeting room, they call those things out. Now, are you getting it called out from, a coach you respect or not? That's the thing. So right. I think last year was a mess off the field. And we just don't know all the things that happened. And I think it started the fact that they went down and they lost a couple of games. They went down to Brazil and they lost. They came home and they lost the team that beat them in the Super Bowl and all this, and it just never quite got back right. But you're starting in the year off with the Broncos, who think they're better than you now.
And they've beaten you three times in a row. Two games that counted.
And the one game that counted that you won was a blocked field goal. And you kind of pulled that one out of the fire. So, the Broncos, they feel like they've passed the Chiefs now. So if you
they played the Chiefs well even when they weren't good.
Yeah. If you lose to the Broncos and you got another prime timer right after that, I mean, you lose a couple of games, who knows?
And then, the thing is, then you've got game pressure all the time.
All the time.
And are you going to react well to that? I frankly,
I
don't think it's a great sign that they continually recycle everybody. When they go out and get, we need more accountability. Where do we go? Eric Bieniemy.
Yeah.
He's the one guy came back. They did get some new guys. O'Shea coming in's new.
Yeah.
DeMarco Murray coming in's new.
But I think they're general in player procurement. They do it so often too. I don't like it.
If Derek Nottie comes back, then I'll be.
I mean, we need help in the secondary. Here comes L'Jarius Sneed.
Yeah.
I mean,
I saw a tweet earlier today that they said the Chiefs have Juju Smith-Schuster's coming back, and they're not. But
yeah,
I had to look and check and see because it sounds like something that they would do, bringing guys back and going for
something it would do.
and going for first-round picks that other teams have had issues with. When I heard Kelsey say that on Tuesday, my first thought was that he said that about last year, and then he realized, oh crap, I think I just threw Matt Nagy under the bus. I better put some of this on myself. Now,
Yeah.
I'm suggesting that. I mean, that's what it hit me. Oh, absolutely, 100%. 1,000%. Whatever you said, we didn't have that last year, and then that's me too.
Mhm.
I wonder if that was like, oh, hang on.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that Travis Kelsey isn't a guy who would take responsibility himself, but
it is interesting
it felt like
how
that was a
Eric
correction.
Bieniemy has. He was not the flavor of the year for a while, not just a month, but he was.
Oh, they couldn't wait to have him leave.
They were trying. Andy was trying for years. Now, for a couple, maybe to get him a head coaching job because that's great for your life. But after he wasn't going to get a head coaching job, it was like, you're gone. You got to just go find a job somewhere. And then all of a sudden, he tried to get Matt Nagy a head coaching job, and that didn't work either. And it was still like, well, you're gone. Eric's coming back. You got to go get a job somewhere. So eventually, we know this is Andy's offense. And if the offense doesn't look better this year, regardless of injuries and all that stuff, for me, that's falling on Andy.
Yes.
Because it's always been Andy's offense.
I think it always should have fallen on Andy. And I don't really like. I think it is a bad sign, not that it can't help, that you had to bring in Mr. Accountability. That you've openly embraced a guy you couldn't wait to get rid of. I mean, a lot of these main players do. I don't think Mahomes was crying any tears about him leaving the first time.
Kelsey, really, but now they get him back.
Yeah.
Spats. So now he's
Great to have him in the building.
Now he's a returning hero. I don't know if that's a good thing.
Yeah, I know a lot of times in baseball teams or football teams, they have the players manager, then they fire that guy and they bring in a taskmaster, and then they fire that guy and they bring in a players manager. Is it something similar? That's a similar pattern. It's the same guy both times, and it's not exactly a manager. But do they think, all right, we got to find somebody who doesn't drive our players crazy? Let's go get Matt Nagy. Oh wait, there's no accountability. Let's go back and the first way was better.
Yeah,
that's the hope.
Eventually,
that it works out that way.
Well, that's
but
the way we always see it in all. The players coach is replaced by the disciplinarian. But it doesn't have to be the same guy who was the disciplinarian before.
And it makes you wonder. It's like how many people are in this Rolodex? Is it just like 8 people?
I know.
And there was some Royal stuff. I mean, like one point it was like, does Dayton Moore know anybody who doesn't play for the Braves?
Oh, I don't even want to.
But it's one of the. But it's a similar like. How many people do they know?
Don't the Royals understand? Just the optics of signing Craig Kimbrell. Don't they just get it? Sometimes you got to realize that you're in the entertainment business, okay? You've got fans who want to spend money, and it's like the biggest eye roll ever. I mean, Craig Kimbrell hasn't gotten anybody out for 3 years.
Well, neither has the Royals bullpen. So
I know, but just pick up an anonymous guy nobody's heard of who can't get anybody out.
Yeah.
Is he near a milestone or something?
He's close to. I think this may set the record for teams played for. I mean, he's maybe tying.
That's not a milestone.
400. I think it said 440 saves. But dude, this is a great acquisition in 2006.
Well, I know.
You get this guy in 2012, you're rolling.
By the way, since I'm looking at it right here, and I'll forget if I don't talk about it. Did you see the guy from in the Little League World Series, the Kentucky coach, get tossed?
It was early on. I didn't see the whole thing. I heard some people talking about it.
I didn't know. I don't know any of the details, but I'm like, dude, really?
Little League's not having a great year.
And they
Little League had an injunction. They had people getting kicked out. They got all kinds of problems.
Yeah, they had you could see the manager. I mean, the umpire, and he's looking at him, and the guy's wearing. I don't even know what it was about. I was watching the TV without the sound on. But the man, you can see the umpire going, "Stop it!
Stop it!
Stop it!
Don't come out here!"
And he didn't stop it, and then he's got the heave ho, and he had to go like out the parking lot. Did you see? Wow. Come on! You can't get. It's Little League.
I don't know how I feel about Little League World Series. I don't know. I don't know. It was a fun little thing once, but now these games that are on now, they're not the Little League World Series. They're just showing like the playoffs, the regionals to get there.
I was having lunch yesterday. I saw Missouri was getting their butts kicked. I don't know whether they ended up losing. It was 9-4.
I don't think
that
they won.
was
that was the district final. No, it wasn't even the district final.
Yeah.
It was whoever was going to win was going to play
Go to the
Ohio,
next one.
play Ohio or something. For the right to go to Williamsport.
At least there were no court injunctions in that one. They had the court injunctions were happening with the team from Oklahoma.
What was that?
Oh well, they had used a player who wasn't eligible,
too old?
Not in the actual part they were at, but to win Oklahoma. And then they found out about it. They said, "Well, you can't play." And then they went just like you do in college football or the NFL, and they got an injunction. And the other team said, "I don't care what your injunction says." And Little League says, "We don't care about that injunction. We have our rules. What you did was wrong, and we say you can't play, you're not playing." So then they didn't eventually play the game. But they spent money and went in front of a judge to try to get to play a game. So
they're like, dude, we just want to go to Dairy Queen. We just stop this crap.
Yeah. We just want to do what we want to do.
I want a helmet Sunday.
This is what happens when we put all these things on TV. But
if that wasn't, once
something's got
now everything's on TV, so I don't think it's. But once upon a time, it was kind of a topic that we would talk about. Should the Little League World Series be on TV? And the players, is it exploitation of the players and such? But that seems like ancient history talking about things that way.
There's a lot of stuff on TV now. There's a lot of TV, and so. ESPN, they do a joke. It started as a joke in Dodgeball, ESPN Ocho. Well, they do that now. It's not an actual channel, but they call it the Ocho.
Right.
There's pillow fighting on it. There's I saw there was like Excel spreadsheet something. Some of you guys should get in on that. There's all kinds of wild things.
You know what
on
game I was excited when they first started showing it was Ultimate Frisbee. I always loved playing Ultimate Frisbee. And I thought it was going to be it's not very exciting to watch.
More fun to play?
I was shocked. I turned it on and it was like, well, there's a lot of standing around and flipping the ball. Flipping the Frisbee. And
there's this game called Paddle, which is like played over in Europe. I see that I've got the extra sports channels on my YouTube TV so I can have Red Zone. And I'll scroll down there. Our buddy Sean Wheelock, Dr. Soccer,
right.
Back in the day, he is like the face of bare knuckle fighting. He is the announcer.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so
I knew he was in the world of physical contact.
Yeah, so this is bare knuckle. This isn't even like MMA. He was Bellator
like
before.
John L. Sullivan.
This is dudes with the little hand wraps on, but there's bare knuckle. And I turned on the other day. They don't have stuff all the time, but it's always on. I saw some live bare knuckle the other day. I'm clicking around, and it was in Sturgis because it's rally week, right?
Right.
The motorcycles are up there, and it said live on it. I said, "Wow, this is live." And I said, "There watching." It was a guy from Kansas City. He lost. He got beat up, and it's vicious stuff,
I
man.
would think so.
And they had women fighting before, and it was
like anything I'd want to watch.
I'm telling you, it was pretty gruesome. But I'm not going to say that 2 nights ago I wasn't clicking around down there on Willow 2, watching some cricket that was live in the Caribbean and placing a bet on it and winning, by the way. Hit that over 8.5.
Do you know anything about cricket?
Yes.
I want to talk about this during the break because it's not for the audience. I don't think wants to hear about it. I always want to know more about cricket because I don't quite understand it.
Well, I'm going to tell you what. T20 cricket is exciting. That test cricket that lasts for days is no good. They have fixed cricket. T20 cricket is an amazing sport, and they play. A lot of these guys play in all these leagues. They play in India for like 2 months, and now the Caribbean's going. So they have rules. You have to have so many people from your country on the team, but the best of the best. You'll see this dude from the West Indies. He's going to be over in India playing too. And then he's going to be in the Big Bash League down in Australia, Danny. That money's all over the world. You go pick it up wherever it
Todd
is.
Leabo.
I don't like cricket.
Cricket expert.
I hit the over in the 12th over. 8.5. Hit it. Had a sixer and a boundary. I was done. Knocked it. Went right through it. Then I said, I'm stopping right now. I'm not betting on all this. It was St. Kitts versus someone. I don't know. The Caribbean Premier League is on right now. CPL.
Okay.
Caribbean Premier League is on, and these seasons are all very short, like 2 months. So 2 months here, 2 months there, whatever. And I was in on it.
There you go.
So I'm watching whatever's on TV. So I guess I should watch the Little League World Series. Delaware, they're having a defensive challenge.
Oh, no.
They're challenging. They're doing replays in the damn Little League World Series.
Not even
World Series. The Little League playoffs.
There you go.
I don't know. We're going to talk about cricket in the break. We'll talk about something else with
We'll
Danny
break
when we
this
come
game
back.
down.
Yes, let's do.
All right, the Twin Peaks, end of the hour answer. Two men played in at least 500 games for both the Royals and Angels. I asked for either one.
My first guess is Wally Joyner, because he played probably 3 or 4 years at California before he came to the Royals.
899 games with the Angels.
Did he get to 500 with the Royals?
518.
518.
He was an Angel from 86 to 93.
Freddie Patek.
He didn't get enough California?
But he may have played with Freddie Patek for a little while.
Ooh.
This guy went from the Royals to the Angels Joyner went to the
So-
Royals from the Angels.
Not Al Collins didn't go to the
No,
Angels.
he went to the Mariners.
He did play for the Angels at one point.
But
He was
played
a
more,
boatload.
played
Oh,
more
yeah,
for the Mariners.
Yeah, for sure.
So this
And
person
Tigers.
played with Freddie. Cookie Ross didn't play for the Angels, did he?
Look the other direction.
So third baseman is what you're. Oh, Dave Chalk.
Well, he did play for both teams.
Not 500 though.
606 for the Royals, 522 for the Angels.
Played for the Royals what years?
71, something like that, to 74.
Didn't get the good stuff. Then he went out to the Angels. Paul Shaw.
Paul Shaw.
Come
There
on,
you go.
2 of them.
That's who I was thinking of actually when I said
You said Dave
Chalk. I meant Paul Shaw.
Paul Shaw, Dave Chalk. It's all the same.
Paul Shaw was he went back to Calvin. He was an Angel from 64 to 68, a Royal from 69 to 73, or 74, and was traded back to the Angels in the middle of the 74 season. Dr. Paul Shaw.
Oh, doctor. Hello, doctor.
Are the Angels the worst franchise of the expansion era?
Well, they did win a World Series. We'll give them that.
They've played in a handful of ALCSs.
The Padres have never won a
Yeah,
World Series,
so-
right?
Right. They've
Padres
been in
have
two.
been a couple.
But they've been,
They've been so bad now.
yeah, I mean, the Angels have been so bad for so long.
Yeah, and they've had the best player in baseball, and at one point had 2 of the best players in
Just
baseball on
trying
the
to
team at the
think,
same
the
time.
Mets have generally been good from time to
And
time.
the Mets have won a couple of World Series too.
Of the teams that came in 69, the Padres' .469 win percentage is the worst.
Yeah, they're really bad early. They didn't do anything. I mean, they didn't do anything until
But what,
Until they started
what
just,
the
you know, free
Angels-
agency,
the
right?
Angels started when the Mets did, right?
66, right?
61.
One.
62,
One or
one,
two.
and then so they've been around
Angels,
7 or 8 longer than the Royals.
And they were bad for a long
Angels
time
61.
early.
Yeah.
And they were maybe in the
They were really good in the
80s. They
80s.
were okay.
Yeah, I
They
mean they
won-
made
But that was it.
Yeah, they
That
won the
was about
division in 79, 82, and 86.
86. I mean, so they went to playoffs 3 times, and they had a good stretch there.
Right.
They had some really good players on those
Right, and they
teams. We
spent,
had
and
a,
they
were-
spent money. And
Yeah.
They were strike away from
Reggie
the World
and
Series in 86.
Fred Lynn,
They
and,
were
you
up,
know,
But that's it. I mean, that's about it.
Yeah, they were up in Game 5.
they were
against
good. I mean, they
Milwaukee.
won the whole thing in 02, and then they made the playoffs a bunch in like 04, 05. They had some good teams.
So
They
I
would,
guess the answer is no then.
yeah, I don't think they're the worst, but like they haven't been in the playoffs since 2014,
Right.
and they were the 1 seed, and they got swept by the Royals. They lost 2 games at home, and they came here and they got beat on that Sunday night, and they haven't been back.
They haven't
and they
won-
haven't. What's their best record in the last 10 years? Even
Let's
if they sniffed the
see.
playoffs?
They haven't. They were 605 and 14. The best record since then is 525 that next year. So since 16, they were 594 one year. They were 80 and 82 back in 2017. They haven't won a
It's been very mediocre.
They haven't won a
Mediocre.
postseason game since the 2009 season.
Yeah, they made the playoffs in
So they,
9, 8,
That's pretty
7,
bad.
5. I mean, they made the playoffs,
so
That's a bad
better.
stretch.
6
That's
times.
better than I thought.
But they went between 86 and 2002 without making the playoffs. It's a long stretch.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't make the playoffs until 79 from the beginning of their existence. That was harder to make the playoffs then
Yeah,
because there was just 2
Right,
teams
but
made it.
Not now. It ain't.
No, not
And
now.
they haven't won a postseason game since the ALCS in 2009.
2009.
17 years, and they're not going to win one this year.
No, probably
No.
not. Probably not.
They're embarrassing now. I mean,
And
it's embarrassing.
they've had some money. It isn't like they're a team
They also
that's,
had Shohei.
yeah, and Mike Trout.
Well, and Albert Pujols and
Yes.
and they spent a lot of money. They spent a ton of money. They've always kind of like been that free agent team. Those teams in 82.
Yes.
I mean,
Joe Rudy,
Don Baylor and
Joe Rudy.
Bobby Grich. These
Right.
guys
Rod
started
Carew.
playing. Reggie Jackson, Rod Carew,
Yeah,
all
pitching.
these guys.
Yeah, that
Fred
82
Lynn.
86 team was really good. They were a strike away from the World Series.
Yeah, they should have won that game. You know, Donnie Moore gave up the home run, and then but they still could have won
Well,
one of the next 2 games.
True.
And they didn't go do that. They lost their championship point, and then they never got it back. And they weren't even really close in those other 2 games. So that was a tough one.
Gary Lucas coming in and hitting Rich Kedman for 1 pitch. Going to get the lefty out. Boink.
Not
Crap.
good.
Well, that's almost. It's late night. I like baseball. I'm sure I'll watch some tonight, but that's bad. That's bad baseball tonight.
You're asking me if I'm going to see some tonight? I'm probably not going to see some tonight.
I watched probably the last 7. Royals are on. This would not normally be me. I watched probably the last 7 innings of all 3 games in L.A. It's interesting looking. I like watching the Dodgers.
I watch the games.
It's a cool looking matchup. I've wanted the Royals and Dodgers to be in a World Series for years. I'll watch these. It's kind of fun. I don't really care if they win anymore, so it's not. There's no
right. Well,
there's
that's
no
another thing.
nervousness.
I just like baseball, but I have gotten to the point where I watch all the Royals games because it's basically part of what I do.
Mm-hmm.
But now I am more inclined to watch another game than I was before. Because usually I have a choice of 4 or 5 games. I don't know how they're selected or why they're selected to because sometimes I'll click on it and it'll say game not allowed in your area, but sometimes I'll be able to watch.
By the way, the Angels have already had 2 million people go to games this year. I mean, it's a huge city. The Royals have had like a 1.1 million.
They've really drawn that.
I've already gotten 2 million people.
Meanwhile, the Rays at 74 and 46 have just over 1 million. They just passed 1 million in their last home game.
Actually, drawn a little better this year than usual.
But they're still 14th out of 15 teams in the American League, and they just broke 1 million in their last home game.
Who's worse? Who could be worse? Because the Royals are ahead of them.
Could it be the Athletics?
Oh, probably.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. The Athletics, that was sellouts 12,000.
Yeah.
So
they are. They're
pretty low.
Yeah, 600,000.
I was watching a little bit the other day. I was watching the White Sox. You know what? You win games, people start coming out against people at the ballpark.
Well, the other franchises, the Rockies, they just pack the house every game for them to watch the team lose. The
White Sox have already gotten more people out to the ballpark this year than last. And there's plenty of games to go.
And usually it takes a little time. It's usually the year after you get better.
Mm-hmm.
The Rockies last year, while losing 119 games and having by 20% the worst run differential in the history of Major League Baseball, drew 2.4 million.
Yeah. It's a big city.
It's great.
People like to be outside.
That big.
Yeah, it's pretty big. Denver's a big city.
Yeah, Denver's big.
It ain't like 2.4 million for a 119 loss team big though.
No. But it's pretty big.
Well, it's another advertisement for downtown baseball.
Yes.
People love to go down there, and
it's
also right off the
nice.
highway.
Yes, very nice.
And they'll probably get to 2 million this year. They're not going to be nearly what they had last year, but
they're already
down
that much.
a little
I usually check. I haven't checked recently, but I usually check. Like, my God, they're
at 1.7.
They had 37,000 on a Tuesday.
They weren't there watching the Royals. They did not draw. The Royals, there was a little empty on those.
Right.
Little empty on those. But
once the trade deadline went, it's been not a topic. That's unfortunate when you become that irrelevant in a season
for sure.
where you were
and they've got
season where you were supposed to be
a really good young player in Jack Caglione, who's doing some pretty nice things here recently.
Yeah.
I don't know. It doesn't make the Royals season doesn't make sense because I know they've got a lot of injuries, but when they weren't injured, they weren't winning games either. The bullpen has been a disaster the entire year, and had the bullpen been 50% better than it is, they probably could have won some of those games early, maybe got some confidence.
They didn't hit it all at the start.
They just don't hit the right time either.
No.
I say it all the time. Bad teams can lose 9-8 and 2-1, and this team has that one down. They got it down. They can get boat raced, and they can lose 2-1. They can lose 6-5 because they've done all of those things.
It's so much of it is the back end of the very end, because the 1-run games. If you suck at the end of the game, you can turn a close game. If your starting pitching's bad, you're going to lose. You might lose by 5 or 6 runs.
Colorado levels.
Yeah, but if you're halfway decent in starting pitching, but the back end's brutal, you're going to lose a lot of 1-run games because the game's over.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the reasons they have so many of those types of losses.
Well, I think they've lost 11 games when leading after the 7th inning.
Yeah.
If you just add
5 of them.
5 of them, then you're better. It's still not great, but and also they got to be kicking themselves very harshly because the wild card's 500.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is a year to be mediocre and be they should be playing meaningful baseball right
Yeah.
now. For the fact that they are not even playing games where they can, if you're 6 games under 500 right now, you can you're absolutely in it.
Mhm.
Absolutely in it.
Yeah, the Royals are
But they're not.
not in it. And let's see, in one-run games, they're 16-21, which is better than I thought it might have been. They're under 500, of course, in extra inning games. They're horrible on the road,
But-
just so bad on the road.
But as bad as they've been in one-run games, and it speaks to some other issues they have in games decided by 5 or more runs, they are 9-18.
Yeah.
So they're losing a lot of one-run games. They're also losing a lot of games by
Well,
more
16 and
by 5 or
21
more.
isn't even bad. It's better than their overall winning percentage.
Yeah.
Yeah. If they were,
Yeah.
if that's how they were in the others, it wouldn't be so bad. That stat that Jason Anderson said yesterday about the home runs, that when they homer, they're 3 games over 500, and when they don't, they're like 28 games under 500.
Well, you should be more than 3 games over 500 when you're a homer, too.
Yeah.
Well, except they give up home runs, so the other team might have hit 3 and you hit 1.
Yes.
But it's only like 38 and 36 or something, and then they're 11 and 38 in the games where they don't homer. That's way too many games that you don't homer in.
Indeed.
Way too
and
many
I bet
games.
there's a lot of games, as you say, where they've hit a homer.
Yeah.
Let me look and see what the record is. Major League record is teams if they hit 1 home run in a game.
And the luck factor, which, that's the Pythagorean
Right.
whatever, and they're basically what they are. They're like -1 on that. So their Pythagorean record is 50 and whatever, and their actual record's 49 and whatever. So they're not
They are what
tremendously unlucky, and they're not tremendously lucky. There's nothing greasy about most of the greasy losses,
Yeah.
not greasy wins for them. But they're going to finish this thing out.
By the way, there are only 5 teams in baseball that have a worse winning percentage than the Royals when they hit at least 1 home run.
How many games have they played? My guess is
But
the
that's
Royals.
about how
It's
many. That's
73,
about what they
yeah.
are.
Yeah,
They're about the 5th worst team in baseball.
81, 82, 75, 78, 81. The worst record, the Athletics are 432 win percentage. Royals at 521, the best.
How many games have the Athletics played where they didn't hit a home run? That's my question.
Probably not too many.
I'll say they've played 81 where they have, so they've had more games where they've homered than the Royals have.
They play in a bandbox.
Yes.
So
But so have the Twins. So the Mets have played more. Everyone below them has had more games in which they've hit a home run. Let's see how the Royals. How they've had the last. They're pretty close to the last.
Probably last.
Only the Brewers and Cardinals have had fewer games. But the team that's the best at it has been the Rays, who have only homered in 1 more game. But
Yeah.
they're 55 and 19 when
And
they
the
hit a
Royals
home run.
bullpen is horrific, but their starting pitchers go deep, and so they haven't even been pressed. It's not like they've been killing this bullpen and wearing them out all the time.
no,
They're just no good at it. But they're signing Craig Kimbrell and stuff, so
I just can't. I can't believe they did it. It just is. It's not. Like I said, it's not even the baseball aspect of it. Just don't do it. I mean, you see the name and you're like, no. Someone with the exact same resume as Craig Kimbrell and his name is Joe Jones. Fine.
take Joe
Yeah.
Jones.
Take Joe Jones, not Craig Kimbrell, who's,
It's veteran.
Craig Kimbrell. Is he married?
Does he want to go home?
When does your? Yeah. What? I mean, he's made certainly. I'm sure.
Oh, he's made well over $100 million. I looked it up. $130-some million.
So he's rich beyond. I guess it says something about his competitive.
keep going,
Yeah,
man.
But it's delusional too.
Yeah.
It's like a pro golfer is going out and shooting. But he's exempt, but he shoots 80 every round. Sooner or later you'd be like,
Stop it.
Let's
You're
not
embarrassing
do,
yourself.
Let's not do it.
You wanna go to the Field of Dreams game? You want to go up there, the cornfield?
I would go there, but what does it hold? 10?
It's not much.
Must be a lot. Those tickets must be like huge.
Don't even worry about it, Danny. You got so much money. You're traveling around with your European clothes on.
He's got mad Skrilla.
He comes in here bejeweled,
I am
wearing
bejeweled.
multiple rings, bracelets, necklaces,
I have 8.
finest linens.
I have 8 pieces of jewelry on, and all my clothes are linen today.
He's linen. You need to be linen right now. It's hot.
Yeah,
You got to have airy clothes.
We were supposed to go to dinner, but it got canceled, so I didn't know that when I dressed.
So now you're not going to eat?
Well, I don't eat
You'll still
dinner,
eat dinner.
and I don't
Yeah.
eat.
I only
dinner,
eat dinner when she forces me when we go out to eat dinner.
and then I just get an appetizer. I had the greatest. we went for my birthday last weekend, and we went to Il Centro.
Mhm.
Been to Il
Yeah,
Centro?
it's been a while.
Lovely little Italian restaurant. And so when we go out, then just to be social, I have an appetizer. I don't eat dinner, but I have an appetizer. The appetizer I got was grilled shrimp on artichoke bottoms.
Oh yeah,
It was
dream come true
sounds
for you.
good.
delicious.
That sounds
I
really
mean,
good.
I've never even seen it. I was just in Italy.
Did you finish
for-
your meal?
Oh, I ate all
Look at that.
9 of them.
He ate his whole app,
There were 9, and I ate all 9.
all gone.
Joyously. Didn't even want to give
Give him a
one.
fine glass of wine then, or a Peroni?
I had a space camper.
Space camper. You get your Kansas City
But
beer.
I did. No, I did have. I had a Moscow Mule, Curtis.
Nice.
Good
Yeah.
stuff.
Love mules.
An homage to Curtis.
Thank you.
Danny's unleashed. He's not going to dinner tonight, but he's dressed for dinner, and so he'll eat
Dressed
maybe
for
something.
success.
You'll have a treat tonight. Treat yourself to something.
Yeah, I'll have a beer. That's what I'll have.
Well, that's you drink your dinner. That's what you always should do. Welcome,
Smile every week. A
Welcome back
smile
in.
every week.
the program.
I don't know how Kyle decided that this was going to be the tune every week,
Your
but
son.
but I'm thrilled.
There was no console. He just played it and you liked it, or
Yeah, that
Or
was
you
it. Well,
didn't
I knew the
request it?
song,
Yeah.
but
This was Drevetta's rule for you, Danny.
okay,
Oh, don't thank Kyle then.
Oh,
No
okay.
wonder how-
Sorry, I didn't know. Did it date all the way back to that?
must
Yeah.
have. But
Yeah.
I always thought it was
No
something that
soup for you, Kyle.
because the
You
end
should have
of,
just taken that.
Our end of the show song on Friday was when we were way back for him was I just popped up. It's Head East. It's never been any reason, and he loved it. He said, "Oh, that song's fantastic." So that became our Friday
into the
that's thing. And 23 years, 24 years later, we still do it. But that just came out of nowhere. He didn't say, "Hey, play that song. I like it a lot." So
Sring wouldn't know the name of a song.
No, but he remembered it though.
He heard it. He goes, that one. I like that one.
I want that one.
There is a version of Head East that still plays around here.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Why not?
I've seen the singer sings in multiple bands, and I've seen him in another band. So
yeah,
and he's been singing for Head East for 20 plus years. So I know obviously he's not the original singer. I think, I think the original, one of the original members recently passed.
Two people sing on that song. Back and forth on that one.
Yes.
You got any shows you're going to? You got any tickets for anything? What are you going to?
I'm going to Bruce Hornsby. That's probably the next one, I think. It's been a very good year for shows. I've gone to a variety of shows, and many of them great shows. Joe Jackson, that was a fabulous show.
My brother was down there.
That was.
Did you see my brother?
I did not. I think I saw Drake at that one.
And I see my brother always sees Drake somewhere too. I said, why don't you guys just go to the show together? Of course, Drake always leaves early.
Yes.
Watches 4 or 5 songs. He says he saw the concert. He just wants to say he was there.
Yeah, recently.
It's like I'm too old to stay up all night long.
Yeah, recent when he saw just a few songs, and there was one that I was at too. But yeah, I think I have 2 left. Oh yeah, it's my yearly solo pilgrimage to see 38 Special is coming up soon, and then
where's that going to be?
That's at Ameristar.
Oh, it's here. But I've seen the billboard for that.
I've traveled I've gone to Topeka. I've gone to Cape Girardeau.
Remember the time we did our interview?
Yes.
And then John Knox Village.
John Knox Village.
He and I saw him at the Uptown.
Got Don Barnes on the phone.
Yeah, we Kurtis and I went and saw it up the Uptown. But
so good.
I've traveled ever since, basically, except for the time I went with Kurtis. I just go by myself because certainly my wife doesn't want to go.
You know, Drake had to stay for his entire concert. He went to the Men at Work, Colin Hay thing. Right, it was up in Omaha. And he went and spent the night up there.
Mm-hmm.
So he didn't have any reason to leave. So he actually stayed for a whole concert last weekend.
Colin Hay is quite good.
One of the things I liked about the show we saw was that my best friend since I was 10 years old, Gary Barnes, he's a huge fan of 38 Special.
Mm-hmm.
And I've known Danny for 30 years, and I've known him for 50. They had never met. So the first time he met my best friend was at the 38 Special concert. It was very cool to be watching that band with those 2 guys.
38 Special brings people together.
And they can still play. I mean, that's
it's
nobody original.
It's basic. Well, it's Donnie. He's the
only one that needs to be there because you got to have that voice.
He's the songwriter. He's the guitar player, but the rest of the band has played with him for up 25 years now.
Those guys. That's I tell people. Well, I'm going to go see this band, but only a couple members. I'm like, trust me, if they're a big name, they can afford the best traveling musicians.
Right,
you know, a guy who's touring with 38 Special is not going to be a schlub.
There are some the only guy is the drummer.
Yeah,
or,
but
whatever.
even at that, if they're a known commodity, they've got enough money to go out and get guys who are good. Usually,
sometimes,
more often than not, I think.
I would say if it's a major person, he will surround himself with great musicians. That is true.
That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Absolutely true.
I just looked up the lead singer of Head East at the time was John Schlitt.
Yes,
I said it right.
It was.
And I didn't realize that he went on to be the lead singer in Petra, the Christian rock band.
How
about that?
There you go. Music trivia with us.
We just learned that today.
Every day.
The drill's up next.
All right, how many players have made a Pro Bowl for both the Chiefs and Rams? Brought to you by La Feta Delicatessen.
Welcome back into the program. We are going around the country 2 minutes or a little bit more at a time. We'll kick it off in Seattle with Dick Fain of KJR. And Dick, what are the thoughts there in Seattle with the Mariners right now? Such an amazing year last year, hanging in, just trying to hang back there. And but I guess they're still not dead yet, 5 games back of the Astros. What's the feeling in Seattle right now for the Mariners?
Well, as you know, we have had many, many lows, many more lows than highs as longtime Mariner fans. This might be as low as it gets because for the simple reason of you had a team that was 8 outs away from the World Series last year. So your expectations going into the season were at least as high as any since coming off the 2001 season when they won a record 116 games but didn't make the World Series that year. So you're talking about the highest expectations in a quarter of a century, and you've found yourselves basically closer to last place than the first place at this point, and it's been a total embarrassment. Dan Wilson has been scrutinized, criticized for good reason. He has shown no ability to handle a bullpen. He has shown no ability to fire up his group and get them out of losing streaks. Good managers can turn 3-game losing streaks into 3-game winning streaks. And Dan Wilson finds a way to turn 3-game losing streaks into 6 or 7 games.
So is he in trouble, you think? Or I mean, you almost make the World Series. Are you good for a while?
Well, here's the problem. Dan Wilson is a top 50 player in Mariner history. He was just honored that as we had our 50th anniversary celebration this last week. And because Dan Wilson is a top 50 member and very good friends with the ownership, longtime friends with the ownership, we feel like that is going to be a stay of execution for at least another year. Fans think he should be gone. Most of the media think he should be gone. But we don't make the decision. The decision is made by John Stanton and Jerry DiPoto, and because of that, we think he's probably going to be given a 2027.
It'd be pretty wild. Really quick fall, honestly, from how that went last year. But a lot of things aren't the manager's fault either, right? Like Cal Raleigh had an MVP caliber year last year, 60 home runs, all that. I mean, what's he going to maybe end up with 20 home runs a year if he gets hot, right?
This is the most precipitous decline maybe in baseball history. I mean, you think of some of the, you think of the Chris Davis, who had, a 50 home run season and then hit a .196 the next year.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the good news for Chris Davis, I was actually looking him up the other day. He actually bounced back with like a 870 OPS year the next year after he hit 196. So, I mean, the Mariners have to have that. I mean, if they have any prayer of being a playoff contending team next year, they don't need 60 home run Cal Raleigh, but they need 30 home run Cal Raleigh. They need a high 700 to 800 OPS Cal Raleigh, and they need it from Josh Naylor, and they need it from Julio Rodriguez. Julio's played okay. He's the least of the Mariners' problems, but Josh Naylor, he went 2 months without hitting a home run. And Cal Raleigh seems like he's gone 2 months without getting a base hit. So the offense is the number one problem with the team because, once again, they are wasting an amazing starting rotation. I will put the Mariners starting 5 up against any starting 5 in baseball, and I've been doing that for the last 3 or 4 years. They are fantastic, and yet the offense consistently loses 2-1, 3-1, 4-1 games.
Well, they did only beat the Royals once out of 6, and that's rough sledding. If the Royals go 5-1 against you and the sweep in your ballpark, that's a rough one on that front. Little Chris Davis tidbit, people always get excited about Bobby Bonilla Day, in July. Chris Davis has so much deferred money still left on his contract. He's going to get $3.5 million starting now through 2032, and then he gets $1.4 million till 2037. So, we love the Bobby Bonilla one, but Chris Davis has been getting $9 million a year the last 3 years. So just don't sign any one of those deals.
It's a good gig, man. If you can get it, all you got to do is hit 50 home runs one season, and you're set for life.
It's all it takes, Dick. It's all it takes. All right, now, listen, let's get done with the bad, the good. Listen, Seattle won the Super Bowl last year, so it's not all bad up there in the great Northwest. What's camp been like so far? I know we're super excited here in Kansas City. Kenneth Walker, I think, is going to change this Chiefs franchise on offense. Seattle's loaded up team. Have you liked what you've seen on Hard Knocks? Is it different than covering the team? Because we haven't had Hard Knocks around the Chiefs in a long time. But I know there's a whole lot more stuff on Hard Knocks than we ever get to talk about with the players themselves.
What I've liked about Hard Knocks is how they've portrayed Mike Macdonald, and it's a different kind of Mike Macdonald. It's kind of a hard-ass Mike Macdonald, and I think Seahawks fans really like that. I think a lot of Seahawks fans have just been, and even the media really the last couple of years, have just been introduced to the golly shucks Mike Macdonald, kind of the goofy Mike Macdonald, the guy that's kind of uncomfortable with the microphone in the press conference Mike Macdonald. And we've always been fine to be that way because you're good. You're a top 3 coach in the NFL. I don't care what you're at the podium if you're a top 3 coach in the NFL. But we're seeing a little more from Mike Macdonald, that he's got a little more old school in him. He's got a little more red ass in him than I think a lot of people, even in the media here, thought. So I think that's the good thing. And it's the culture, guys. I mean, you know it in Kansas City. When you walk onto a practice field with a team that has a great elite culture, you just feel it. And it probably only exists in 4 or 5 franchises in the NFL. You're one and we're one.
Yeah.
And it probably, you walk on 4 or 5 fields in the NFL that you're like, this is a toxic place. And then everybody else is kind of in the middle. You have an elite culture with Andy Reid. We have an elite culture with John Schneider and Mike Macdonald. And that's why the 2 teams are Super Bowl contenders every year.
Yeah, it's fleeting, though. It doesn't last forever. I do want to ask you about Terry and Arnold. There's expected to sign with the Seahawks. This is the guy who was a first-round pick of the Lions. He's got some criminal charges possibly going to happen with him. How has this landed in Seattle?
It's landed really positively, and it goes back to the culture. I mean, If this was the culture of the Seattle Mariners, everybody would be like, what the hell are you doing, right? But it's not. It's the culture of Mike Macdonald and John Schneider, and everything they touch is gold. So everybody's like, hey, in John, in Mike, we trust. No problem. And so I did a poll yesterday. It's over like 2,000 votes. It's 75-25, maybe 77-23 positive for Terry Arnold. And really, it's a what do you have to lose situation, right? If he can't play, he can't play. If the NFL doesn't let him play, if he gets put on the commissioner's suspended list, if he gets convicted of something, then he's not going to be a Seattle Seahawk. No harm, no foul. If he can play, you just got yourself a first-round talent opposite your other first-round cornerback in Devin Witherspoon. And the Seahawks have other good corners that can start right away. Even if Terry Arnold's not ready to be a starting quarterback, they still have Iggy out there. They still have Josh Jobe out there. They like Nehemiah Pritchett. But having Terry Arnold at his top-end potential would be the second-best cornerback talent-wise on your team.
It'll be something to watch for sure and see how it does affect the locker room if it gets done. Dick Fain in Seattle, thank you so much for your time. Have a great weekend.
No problem. You too.
Moving on to Cleveland now, Andy Baskin of 92.3 The Fan. And we just talked to Seattle. I talked about the culture there. I'm guessing the culture around the Browns isn't that same feel that most of the culture is around Seattle or maybe Kansas City. How's Browns camp been so far this year, Andy?
I got to tell you, after listening to Seattle just now, I feel like we're in school. You guys are in the AP class, and I'm sitting in here, and I'm like, why am I in this class? What are we doing? I'm normally in the school. I'm in the, below average class, so I'm going to go sit over here for a second. In Cleveland, it's the same old story. We're still looking for a quarterback, and it's between Shedeur Sanders and Deshaun Watson, and so that's where we sit. And Deshaun gets to start tomorrow against Chicago, and then Shedeur will get to start next week against Buffalo.
And basically, everyone's going to play quarterback because no one stays healthy playing quarterback in Cleveland, right? So they're all going to get called upon at some point.
Yeah, we were just talking about it today that since the Browns have been back in 1999, they have only had 2 quarterbacks play all 16 or all 17 games. That was Tim Couch, I think in the 3rd year back, and then Baker Mayfield was able to rattle off 2 straight seasons where he started every game. And so the team seems like it's going to be better over the next couple of years as we head towards the Dome in 29 out by the airport. But right now, it's a team that looks like someone's going to have to parachute in next year with a quarterback and we'll see what happens then.
Most everyone I'm looking around has the total at 5.5 or so. You feeling over, under? How does that feel for you right now?
Sounds right, man. Vegas is beautiful for a reason, isn't it? There aren't a lot of losers out there. So there aren't losers when it comes to the casino side of things. So, maybe 5.5 is right. There's a part of me that thinks that if Deshaun can just play decent football as a quarterback, or if Shedeur can just play decent football, the Browns defense still looks really, really good. And that's, despite the fact that Myles Garrett's not here right now. And people are really, really excited about Jared Verse, the leadership he brings, and what he's going to be able to help out with the defense. So the defense, to me, still will be the stronghold of this team, but you're talking about a team that could not get over 16.4 points per game. So that's the big problem here. They got to get in the end zone.
What has Deshaun Watson been like? I mean, he was hurt, so he's not around much, but he's been such maligned by everyone outside. When you've dealt with him, when he's been in front of the media and all that stuff, what is this guy even like? Because he's had an unusual in NFL career as probably anybody.
I would just say kind of quiet and humble for the most part. And sometimes you look and you're like, what's he saying? But for the most part, he's just, he says all the things that you're supposed to say after media training. And it's not too high. It's not too low. It's, I'm going to try to do the best job I can. And I'm just really excited to be back playing football. Things that you would expect someone to go through the hurricane that he's gone through to say. So I listen to every one of his press conferences that he does every time since he's been here, and they're all kind of the same. They're just all at this kind of cadence.
Now, you mentioned the new stadium coming in. Have they broken ground and all that stuff yet?
Yeah.
So it's coming along?
It's going to be really, really nice. And, I can't wait till they get there. I went to go see Foo Fighters at the stadium last week. They still have all of these, Myles Garrett banners up all over the place. So they got a lot of work to do for the first preseason game next year. So
pull that stuff off. What are they going to do with the old stadium? Is it coming down? What's going to happen?
Yeah, as of right now, I can't imagine the city wants to do anything with it. So what they did with the old municipal stadium, which is where the stadium is now, is they pushed that into the lake, because Lake Erie's right there.
Right.
And they made it into a natural just like a natural reef for fish.
Yeah, a little peninsula.
Underneath.
Yeah.
I got to be honest, for all the playoff games that we've seen in there, they can dump that thing in the lake right now, because we haven't seen one since they've been in that building.
Oh, not good. Okay, let's talk a little bit about Cleveland Indians, or Guardians. God, it's only been 10 years.
Okay.
Before I let you go, I'm trying.
You don't get mad at anybody that does that.
No,
no one here does either.
They've made some moves, right?
Yeah.
Still trying to get in this. How's the feel around them right now? I know it's been rough the last 10.
Yeah, it's just been weird. The last couple games, they made some pretty good moves. Like they brought Joe Adell in, and that was just like they brought in a bat and they brought in a pitcher, and they did some of the things that we were hoping to do. And they were sitting in that third wild card spot, and then all of a sudden they did that, and the bullpen has just gone completely south. So it's not the offense problem anymore. It's not really the starting pitching. Gavin Williams has been great this season. It's the bullpen that has just kind of imploded over the last 2 weeks. So, there's a lot of games still have to be played, and Kansas City's tough this season. But, when they added the third wild card team, anything can happen. We're talking about 7 teams that are kind of vying for one spot right now. I actually think that the odds of them winning the AL Central are probably better than them jumping all these teams to get to the wild card. But who knew Chicago was going to do what they were going to do?
Yeah, I know.
So.
It's crazy. No one saw that one coming. College football, who's the best player on Ohio State?
It can't be Julian Sand right now. So you got to go wide receiver. You have to. And so, no, I'm just brain farting because I haven't thought about
Jeremiah Smith. I mean, it's like Smith, they're both have Heisman odds. It's crazy.
Yeah, I think, to me, Jeremiah Smith's one of the best college wide receivers I've ever seen. Like, there is just he has brought it since the first day he walked on the field. In fact, I remember he was in early, and I got a call from somebody who was at Ohio State. He goes, "You've got to see Jeremiah Smith. He could be the best wide receiver Ohio State's ever had." And it's where he's at. I think he is.
So everyone in the SEC says it just means more, and they root for each other and all that. I can't imagine anybody is rooting for Indiana in the state of Ohio. Have they had enough of Curt Cignetti already?
It's so weird because Indiana was such a joke
Forever.
for so long. Like when I traveled with the Buckeyes back in the early 2000s and 90s, you would go over to Bloomington and the stadium would be all Ohio State fans.
Yeah, their color of red. Yeah, different.
Yeah, it's a hard pill to swallow that Indiana is who they are, but hell, they played great last year. They got what they deserved, and they played awesome. And it's hard not to look at that. It's hard not to look at Signetti and go, that guy is a damn good football coach.
He really is, but I don't think anyone else likes him. That's just the way it goes. Andy Baskin from 92.3 The Fan in Cleveland. Thank you. Have a great weekend.
No worries. I missed you guys at the Kelsey wedding. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I missed it. Didn't get my invite. I thought it was a scam link. I didn't click it.
Great call.
Later. Moving on out to Las Vegas to Steve Cofield from ESPN Las Vegas. Cofield, how are you doing? What's the temperature out there? You guys hot out there right now?
You know, it's actually kind of chilly for the summer. It's 95 degrees. I crap you not. I actually turned up the air conditioner in my car.
How about that? 95 degrees, no humidity. We're 99 right now, humidity about 80%. Well, I'm sweating inside with the AC on, but it's okay. We're gonna have a preseason game at 3:00 tomorrow afternoon. It will be sweaty between the Rams and the Chiefs. But let's talk about the Raiders. Had their first preseason game last night against Arizona. What'd you think of Mendoza, his first chance playing?
He looks fine. I'll tell you what, his reaction after the game is wacky. I mean, he's so tightly wound. He was taking blame for having a lousy game. He's breathing all heavy. But I thought he looked good out there. He's about where I thought he'd be, and he's a guy who still needs some work. Yeah, he's a number one pick, but they made it clear from the get-go, the coaching staff and the GM, that he was the guy that they're going to sit for a while. And they're going to let Kirk Cousins, they're paying Kirk Cousins pretty big money to at least hold the spot, see how they do the first 8-9 games of the season, and they'll go from there.
I honestly think it's probably best if Mendoza doesn't start right away. Now, Kirk Cousins, if he can mentor, I think Kirk Cousins is a pretty good dude, right? I mean, he's been a nice sponge for him. It's not one of these things where, like, Alex Smith was a great resource for Patrick Mahomes. I know sometimes you see these quarterbacks, well, I'm not here to help anybody. How has Cousins been with Mendoza?
I think it's been a brilliant signing. Kirk Cousins is the most helpful guy. He's a great mentor. They essentially have the same personality. That's the other thing. I think a guy who is more of a hard-edged dude in the NFL, as most quarterbacks are, maybe might not understand Mendoza, but they're both kind of cheese balls. And that's not, ripping on them. They're both, really pure guys. So I think Cousins is a perfect signing. Now, hopefully Kirk can move a little bit behind this offensive line and not get hurt early in the season. I actually believe that there is a chance that if Kirk did get hurt early, that Aiden O'Connell may still actually play in front of Mendoza, but we'll see what happens the rest of the preseason. I think their goal is to get Mendoza in there, unless they're good, by week 8 or 9. Their bye is week 13. I think that's way too long to wait, so we'll see how it unfolds. Their schedule's so tough early on. I don't see them getting out of the gates, 5-3 or 6-2.
Yeah, every time I've seen Mendoza, the Heisman ceremony, before and after games, all this stuff, it's like it's even Kirk Cousins amped up even more. It's a little too good to be true, all the things he says. But I guess that's who this guy is. Are people already rolling their eyes at some of the things he says, or is it like, hey, man, this is the number one pick. He could be the savior of the franchise. It's all good.
Well, it depends on who people are, right? People like me in the media, yes. The fans, my God, Raider Nation is so protective of Fernando Mendoza. He can be as awkward as he wants to be. They haven't had any hope at quarterback for the longest time, even when Derek Carr was pretty decent. That I never thought that was super hopeful, but no, they're very protective. They'll deal with his awkward personality. If he turns out to be a top 10 or 12 quarterback, that's something great for Raider Nation.
What are your thoughts of Kubiak at this point?
I like him, and another one of these guys who isn't super outspoken. He's a hardcore worker. I think he's going to run a really nice system, so I think that's going to be a big help. Last year was a disaster. Pete Carroll just didn't have it left anymore. I think the people in Seattle kind of fibbed to the rest of us because they were trying to be nice about Pete, but Pete kind of lost it about 4 years left in Seattle. So I think Kubiak was a great hire. He was the hottest guy on the market. Their OC is a good hire. They like their DC, who they bumped up. For now, Max Crosby is happy and not running the social media and acting a fool. So things are good. And here's the biggest thing: the entire organization's in an alignment. That because they've had a couple of coaches, when they needed to rebuild, these guys are like, "Oh, we can win 9 or 10 games." Like, no, you can't. I think the staff realizes and the GM realizes they're going to be a 5 or 6 win team at best. It's a building process. You're going to see a lot of young receivers out there, and They don't have expectations where they think they're going to win 10 games.
And he's entering a division with Andy Reid and Sean Payton and Jim Harbaugh. I mean, that's tough sledding. For Pete Carroll had the resume, but he was well past his prime. This is tough for a guy who's never been a head coach before.
And Pete Carroll didn't have the team. He didn't have the back end of the defense that he wanted. He wanted to replicate the Legion of Boom, but he didn't have it. He drafted some tall cornerbacks that doesn't mean those guys can play. It was just unrealistic. And then, John Spivak, the GM's trying to accomplish one thing, and Pete's going out and signing 34-year-old receivers that just didn't match at all.
So, what do you think of Genty this year? I thought he had an okay rookie year last year. You mentioned the line's no good. Can he? He could be someone who can help a young quarterback if it gets to that.
Well, let me retract. I don't think the line is no good. I think it's a work in progress. I think they have a chance to be better. They did go out and get an infusion of a couple of veterans. They're happy with their draft, so they've got some prospects there. I think they'll finally move on from JPJ, who just hasn't worked out. He didn't play well last night. No, I think Genty can have a big year. It can't be worse than it was last year. It's ridiculous. He basically was hit behind the line on every single carry. And I also think they got some real hope out of what he could do out of the backfield catching the ball. So I think they'll probably try to target him, 50, 60 times. And they believe that the kid Washington that they drafted out of Arkansas can be a good release back for Genty. Genty will get the lion's share of the carries, but I think he'll be a lot better this year. So if you're asking from a fantasy standpoint, I think he's going to be very good.
And Max Crosby, obviously, it was an embarrassing situation, the trade that was done and didn't go through. Now you're back. How has he been so far? I mean, we saw the fight or heard about the fight with Kirk Cousins and all that stuff, but how has Crosby been being back and being part of the nation?
Max is Max, so he's going to say the right things, and then if they start losing and he gets frustrated, then like I said, then he's going to have some temper tantrums. He's going to do it in subtle fashion by going to his podcast or up on the internet to post videos. I think he's going to be a good soldier. They need him to be a good soldier, and they need him to be really good because if they do get out of the gates, as a lot of us think they're going to, if they're just 4-6 or 3-7 getting up to the trade deadline, they're going to try to move him again. They're never going to get the 2 first-round picks again unless he has 14 sacks in the first 10 games, but they're going to look to move him. Raider Nation's not split. I would say 20% are like, get rid of him. He wanted to go. You gave him the deal. The other 80% have kind of, bought into Max's hard work thing, which he is a hard worker. But reality is, again, he's a guy who has some knee issues. He's 27 going on 28. If you can still get something for him, then you probably need to flip him at some point in the season and try to get a first-round pick and some other help.
He honestly feels like 27 going on about 30 to me, but that's just me, I guess. It seems like he's been around for quite a while. I'm seeing 5.5 a lot of places for the Raiders. Are you kind of over or under that right now?
I think I'm right on the number. I think 6 is probably realistic. I mean, if their defense surprised us, like if the back end is much better, because they do have some promising cornerbacks that they drafted. If their back end was much better, and their defense is better, then they can inch towards 7 or 8 wins. But they're probably in that range of 5 or 6 wins. And the other thing is, the wide receiver core could turn out to be pretty good, or it could turn out to be really mediocre. But they're going to give those guys a chance, all these young guys, a chance early in the season. And Mendoza has to be out there, so they're going to take their lumps with Mendoza from probably week 9 on, and maybe he only wins 2 or 3 games, and they wind up around 6 wins.
Steve Cofield in ESPN from Vegas, ESPN Vegas. Last thing here, this quote from Josh Pastner. He's the head coach of UNLV basketball. They're looking for an owner. He's trying to walk these things back a little bit. He's got an interesting past as well. How does Pastner fit in Vegas, and what'd you make of these comments?
He's great. He actually, the funny thing is, he made the comments to me about 2 weeks before they came out. I thought they were just kind of dopey, but I also understood what he was saying. And on my radio show, I was like, I'm not putting this out. It's a nothing burger. And then all of a sudden, it's got 4 days of internet traffic. What he was saying, because what people didn't get was that he was referencing the talk about the NBA team here in Vegas and all these billionaires, 5 or 6 groups that are going to bid on the NBA team here in Vegas, and he said, hey, you know what, instead of owning the NBA team, it's going to be a lot cheaper to own us. But he was in no way suggesting, you're going to buy the program.
Right.
He's suggesting, hey, you get a VIP deal, you're going to get players, access. So it blew up, kind of went in the wrong direction. But you know what, they got 5 days of promotion at the end of July for UNLV basketball. Nationally, that's a pretty good thing.
Yeah, is Vegas a team that, should make the tournament this year? NIT last year.
I think they need to make the tournament. They haven't made it in now 12 years. The pressure is on. They got to get crowds back in the building. And with the NBA coming here, they got to start competing because people in Vegas do not go to games for schools and teams that do not win.
Yeah, that's the way it works. Steve, stay warm out there. Get a jacket. Put it on. It's only 95. Stay warm. Get yourself into some AC, okay?
My favorite shock jock.
Leave me alone.
All right, the La Feta Delicatessen, end of the hour answer. And I got to pull this up again. There it is. How many players
17
have made a Pro Bowl for both the Chiefs and Rams?
I was thinking about this after you said it, and I'm trying to think of guys
who was a Chief
who were
first
good.
and then a Rams second.
So just one?
I guess I do this occasionally.
Yeah,
just one.
Okay, give me a little bit of a hint then. What era?
All five.
5 Pro Bowls?
Sorry. 3 for the Chiefs, 1 for the Rams.
Okay.
They all came in a 5-year stretch.
3 for the Chiefs. In what era?
81 to 85.
Oh, Gary Green.
Gary Green,
come on. I'm doing pretty good, Kyle.
81, 82, 83 for the Chiefies. Went to the Rams in 85 and was a Pro Bowler that year, which was his last year.
Mm-hmm.
Last game he would have played would have been that crazy NFC championship game in Chicago where the Bears were shutting on everyone. Gary Green, also one of the coolest looking dudes in the history of professional sports. He kind of just looked cool, and he had the sideburns that were kind of short and came to a point.
Yeah.
And he was a great, great player.
Totally. It was part of the really, really good defense the Chiefs had. They never couldn't get the offense
when he
going.
first got there, they weren't very good, and he was one of the guys that helped him kind of get back to that level.
Baylor Bears.
Yep.
It's Baylor put some people in the NFL back in the day for a while.
did.
The old Southwest Conference. Yeah, Gary Green was a very good player. Very good players. There's a lot of good defensive players on those teams back then. 3 Pro Bowls for the Chiefs, 1 for the Rams. There's your who wins that?
That was a La Feta.
La Feta. You know, so Shane was in here earlier reheating some La Feta that he got
nice.
a couple of days before. So
It's my almost every Friday haunt, so I'll be there a little after 6.
you're going to be eating a fresher sandwich than Shane. He
Probably so.
had it for 2 days.
Still
and it
good.
still looked good.
Yeah.
And I wanted to take it, but I didn't. I didn't. I got to get back over there.
I can get. I
Too much
don't. I
running
don't
around
get
too
home.
much.
Like I go get it, and then I go down to like QT or something and get a soda, and I sit in the parking lot and Quick Trip at 151st and Metcalf.
You can sit one of the 2 tables they
And
got
I
in there and
just-
eat your sandwich inside there.
But I like a big old drink.
Yeah.
And so I get that. I go, and I also get their pasta salad is awesome.
Yeah. La Feta, 143rd and Metcalf. Is the other location open yet? I know they're
I
talking
don't
about another one.
think so.
Not
It is
quite?
sometime this month, but I don't believe
Okay.
it's opened yet.
La Feta, it's a great place. If you haven't been, go.
It's amazing. About once a week, we get a tweet from somebody.
So we
who
finally
says,
got to La Feta.
Dude, finally got there. It's awesome.
You're right. It's really,
everyone,
really good.
Everyone, it's just they're over the moon about the place.
Yeah, it's very
everything
good.
you got there is good.
Very good. What else is on your mind, Kurtis? We're kind of we're going to talk to Pete here in a little bit about the Chiefs game. We've kind of talked that one through. We've talked through the Royals, and we're kind of waiting for things to happen here.
Talk about. I kind of just posted just for fun. You know the meme. I can't think of which Rocky it was in, but it's the 2 arm. You know.
Mm-hmm.
And it's 2 people who are different, and then there's the handshake is the one thing they have in common. That means I've got Jaden Daniels on one side and Pat McAfee on the other, and what they have in common is getting crushed on social media.
Not great.
It's a good competition between who's getting more grief today, Pat McAfee for his album or Jaden Daniels.
Have you listened to any of this album?
I've heard a very short clip of.
I tried to look it up earlier, and there was only
Yeah.
one song in there. It
Yeah.
may not be on Apple Music yet. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think it's on the top 40 yet. And then everyone's destroying Jaden Daniels for being upset about them using the number 5.
Well,
You see what LSU
he's
did?
tried to kind of calm it down.
See what
by saying
LSU
his
did
contract.
in
I didn't see what
practice?
LSU did.
Everyone wore number 5.
Oh boy, Lane.
Yeah, Lane Kiffin is not.
That was real?
It
Could have
wasn't.
been real.
Oh, maybe it wasn't.
Curtis, come on, we're all getting faked out by everything.
That's true. I just saw a picture. It was some.
That
someone
wouldn't
I thought
surprise
was-
me with Lane, but
Yeah, that's why I thought it might be real because.
well, there's plenty of people saying you can't order the number 5, you can't go to Five Guys, because
Yeah.
he owns.
Someone said
things.
that the Pentagon, they were considering making the Pentagon
Adding a side.
hexagon, adding a side because they wouldn't be upset.
Calling it a square.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My favorite from yesterday was Five Guys. Is now going to be Four Guys.
4 guys. Get them all on. Yeah.
Nickelback is going to be Pennyback.
Can no longer plead the 5th.
They could be done.
That's over.
Yeah.
Can't do it.
Can't go 5th,
Yeah.
4th.
Can't do it.
Dave
that
Chappelle
thing's
has to
gonna
go
be-
back and
it'll be
re-record
fine.
that set.
It'll be fine.
You know what? I don't mind him getting blown up for that because that was
He deserves to get blown.
that
It's
was
just the
silly.
things you can't be concerned about.
No. Well, you were there for 5 minutes. I'm sorry, 4 minutes.
He was there. He was there for 2 years. He played 2 seasons.
So
He
yeah.
played 2 seasons.
But one of my things I'm going to do over the weekend because I'm going to have time. Maybe while I watch third stringers play tomorrow, I'm going to find out the Heisman Trophy winners and how often the number they wore in college was worn by somebody else after they left.
Afterwards.
Yeah. And I bet none of them liked this. Was there another number 9 after
There has
Joe
not
Burrow
been,
left
they
LSU?
have not given anyone, that's what I read, that no one at LSU has worn 9 yet.
Yeah.
But it's not retired.
Right.
Okay. There are some rules in the LSU. The way you get a retired number, you have to have played there for 4 or 5 years. Now, Joe Burrow wasn't there that long. Jaden Daniels wasn't. They got to change all these rules, right? They put the names in the rafters over here down Field. You have to be a consensus All-America or
Yes,
something.
I think that's
these
what it
things. I'll tell you this. I went to school with a lot of Heisman Trophy winners, okay? Oklahoma's never
At Truman?
Oklahoma's never retired a number, so no numbers
Right.
are retired.
So-
And they wear the numbers.
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield was number 6, and there's 6s out there all the time. Kyler Murray was number 1. There's 1s out there all the time. Sam Bradford was 14. There's 14s out there. So maybe the next year you don't, whatever, but this is 2026 crap that is laughable in my mind. If you want to be a serious,
he didn't
star of the NFL,
Yeah.
this is not the stuff you worry about.
He didn't win
You got to tell your team, we don't worry about this stuff. This looks petty, and
Very
it
much.
tells me that this is not and his Instagram post he put out yesterday was he's concentrating on making Commanders better and all that stuff. But
the fact that he had to do that
someone
is
on your team, and your mother's in charge of your team because that's the way it works with him, was thinking about this. And if you're thinking about this, you're just thinking about the wrong things, man.
yeah. And saying I'm focused, that didn't help you. That just gave that whole thing another cycle.
In an amazing run to make the NFC title game, then injured, not playing. I mean, all those things. So is he going to be a guy who had a little flash in the pan and then it all falls apart on, or can he build this up and be consistently being that guy who's making? Because right now, it's uneven. I mean, he hasn't done anything yet.
Nope.
It's going to be tough without Laramie Tunsil this year too.
Yeah, well, that's
Left
gone.
tackle gone.
He's got other injuries. I mean, they're out there paying money and they're loading it up for him. Stephon Diggs throwing some money out there, but you just have to keep doing it. One run to the NFC title game.
A lot of guys have done that.
And by the way, getting boat raced in that game was not close.
No.
Right? One run to that doesn't make your career.
No.
And by the way,
there's a lot of teams that looked like they were going to be the next thing and got to a conference championship game and they never got any further.
You won the Heisman Trophy, but lost 4 games or something that year, 3 games that year.
Yeah.
I don't know. Bad look for me.
No.
I've got the list of the last 10 Heisman winners and their numbers. Mendoza, his number, worn next year. Travis Hunter, he got it retired by Deion.
Deion's Deion.
23, Jaden Daniels, obviously, number 5 was worn on defense. Caleb Williams, his number was retired. Bryce Young, his number worn. Devontae Smith, his number worn. Joe Burrow, 9 has not been worn since, but it's not retired.
Right.
Kyler Murray, his number. Baker, his number. Lamar, his number. All worn.
Mm-hmm. So it's school by school.
And they were all, and a lot of those guys that have had them worn again were more impactful to their school than Jaden Daniels was to LSU.
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson.
Alabama has also never retired a number.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, there's something. I think there's a couple of NFL teams that don't. I think the Bears don't. Maybe the Bears. There's Steelers don't. I don't think. There's a couple like Ernie Stautner. There's like 1 or 2. But, there's somebody wearing 88 every year.
USC's deal is only Heisman Trophy winners. So they retire Heisman Trophy winners. So Caleb Williams got his number retired because he won the Heisman Trophy. And they've had 8. It's a lot. I wonder if they gave OJ's back and then they didn't, and Reggie Bush's back and then they didn't, because they took Reggie Bush's away, but then they reinstated it. So
OJ went and got his back, didn't he?
Did they have that trophy or other things? That was memorabilia.
Oh, that's right.
They may have had the Heisman. I don't know.
By the way, 5 NFL teams do not officially retire jersey numbers.
Bears,
Cowboys,
Bears,
Bears actually
Bears
do. Actually, I thought they.
Okay, Cowboys,
Raiders.
It's not the Giants. We did this once. The Giants have like 1,000 retired.
Cowboys, Raiders, Falcons, Ravens, and Texans. Interestingly enough.
Yeah, maybe the Texans will someday.
I'd love to.
Has someone played for the Texans who deserves to get their number retired yet? J.J. Watt. But then he went and played somewhere else.
No. But if they did, I think 99 would probably go up there. For his first ballot Hall of Fame. But they don't do it.
It seems that
Cowboys would have they'd be like the Yankees. They'd be looking for new Raiders too. Be looking for you'd have odd numbers because you'd be out of a lot of them.
Yeah.
It seems that Jaden Daniels will be focusing on the team from the sideline tonight. He's not playing.
No, of course he's not playing. Doesn't need to play. Preseason football. He's going to have 5 on though. I'm telling you, Garrett Nussmeier wore 5. I'm going to ask him, did you get paid not to wear 5? He wore 5 before Jaden Daniels got to LSU because he was there before him.
Yep. And then he wore 13.
Inquiring minds want to know now.
Then he wore 18.
I think LSU is retiring Burt Jones' number this year.
Wow.
Kyle says, who's Burt Jones? Burt Jones is the quarterback.
The same number?
He wore 7.
It's so same number he wore with the Colts.
Yeah, he wore 7, and
he was the NFL MVP in '76 for the Colts.
Yeah, and he had a rifle of an arm.
Yeah,
but he didn't. never really won.
No.
I think he got hurt.
He got hurt, and then
somewhere.
the team around him kind of fell apart. It just wasn't quite what they were going to
interestingly,
be.
Tyrann Mathieu, the Honey Badger, wore 7 at LSU, but it also wore 14.
Yeah. By the way, he was effusive in his praise for Peter Woods. He was on some podcast.
It's his podcast.
It was his podcast.
Yeah.
He was like, man, they got a guy.
He started
I don't want to say Aaron Donald.
He said Aaron Donald.
But, he's – so that's a guy I would like to see tomorrow. I don't know how much we will.
I think we will, I think.
I think the rookies that are healthy are going to
The only thing that he may not do is because he's a little bit hurt.
Yeah.
He got a little bit hurt. So,
but, I mean, somebody's got to play. They're not going to play – like every possible impact player can't be on the sideline. You only get 3 games. The guys who haven't played yet, they got to get some stamps, don't they?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Against the home team, why not?
For sure. All right, we'll take a quick break, come back here. 5 o'clock hour, we've got Pete Sweeney in. We've got bonus period coming up tonight. By the way, 6 o'clock tonight, it's the J-Off kickoff down at Corinth Square. So if you're out and about down in Prairie Village, go by and do that. Coach Leabo will be there. A lot of players. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're getting really close to football games happening for the Jayhawks. We're halfway through August now, so it is time to go. A little more program coming up. Welcome back into the program. Pete Sweeney coming up in the 5 o'clock hour. I'm Todd Leabo in for Soren Petro. Petro will be back on Monday, dropping the kiddo off at college. Big job to get that done. A couple other things going on.
He's dropping kids off of college, and we are dropping knowledge.
Yes, so much knowledge getting dropped here.
Something like that.
Melvin Council on this injunction stuff. The Mark Mitchell situation down in Kentucky, former Duke player and Missouri player who's from Kansas City, they said they're going to make the ruling next week. They had a court hearing yesterday that was postponed, and they had a hearing today, and they'll get the result back next week. But then Kyle just sent us this one. Melvin Council has been trying to get injuncted and they basically told him, nah, right?
Yeah.
Most of them win, but Melvin Council played a lot of basketball, right? He's not a young man.
It says in short that it thinks, the NCAA, it thinks the motion should be denied.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with that. He's 24 years old. Already played at 3 schools. And most of these things where they're trying to get some of these things through, if you've been played that long, a lot of it's like if you've played in junior college at all, that's where there's a lot of gray area.
Mm-hmm.
And Mark Mitchell obviously didn't play at a junior college, and Council didn't either. We'll see what ends up happening on that front. Council did play junior college. So he played 2 years of junior college. Then he played at 3 schools in 3 years. So he may fall into the thing, but we'll see. We'll see. And the Kansas thing is really weird right now because they had the kid who had reclassified to this year who was committed but then decommitted.
That's
so,
right.
I mean,
top 20 recruit in the 27 class.
Yeah. Who said, I got enough credits, I'll classify it this year, and then decommitted because they didn't have
Enough
the money that they were going to give him next year for this year. So a lot of people think he's going to go to Kentucky if they don't get Mark Mitchell. I've been saying this about recruiting for a while.
Good luck.
It is August 14th right now. Classes start soon.
Well, you wouldn't be here in that chair if the classes weren't starting soon. It's the whole point.
So if you're going to go enroll at a school, I mean, if you're going to school, I think at some point you want to be at the school.
Be good.
Maybe get the lay of the land, go to a class. Maybe not. I don't know. Hey, the NFL also says that Troy Aikman has some sort of advisory role with the Dolphins now, and they're going to when he has these meetings with teams for the broadcasting stuff,
kind of like
put the Brady rule on
Brady,
him. But I don't know. What is Tom Brady not really getting to do? He's doing whatever he wants to do.
Yeah.
Tom Brady, it's so funny. These guys are, I mean, absolute heroes with a franchise, and they're now doing this stuff with another franchise. Now Tom's different; he owns a piece of the team, right?
Mm-hmm.
Brady does, or Aikman doesn't own part of the Dolphins. He's just some sort of
he's a consultant.
So
there's been a
I
Aikman
thought
and Jones on a at odds.
I thought Aikman's role would have been over because he was hired as a consultant in the Dolphins general manager search, in their coaching search as well.
Maybe he's still involved.
I guess they really liked what he had to say.
I don't know.
They were impressed.
Yeah. He's a front office, a consultant, advisor. Hey, man,
there's
just get another
guy.
check. They don't pay him enough money to be an announcer. You might as well get some money somewhere else too, right?
And he left the room, and the guy goes, "There's a guy who's got upper management written all over him."
There's a guy.
And the other guy goes, "Ooh, yeah. I'm going to have to sort of disagree with you there." Yeah.
It's
been really late with his TPS reports.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens on that front. There's a lot of little tendrils working everywhere at this point with these guys getting
What did you just say?
Tendrils.
Tendrils are
like long, stringy things that are all kind of put together. And
like spaghetti?
Yeah, like spaghetti. That's what a tendril is.
But different.
Yeah. Well, you wouldn't want to eat it. But, if you're a broadcaster, you're a hero for a franchise, and now you're consulting with another franchise and all that kind of stuff, the intrigue, all those different things that kind of go down. So, we'll see.
There's more news here.
Henry Greenstein says
probably the most prominent point in the NCAA's response to Melvin Council Jr.'s lawsuit is its contention that by hiring an agent, playing in the summer league, and signing an Exhibit 10 contract, he has already foregone his eligibility regardless of whether JUCO years count.
Yeah, so he kind of nullified his JUCO stuff by being a professional. But sometimes anymore, you might just want to sit around and wait, see how it all shakes out. But everyone wants to do that. That's from Henry Greenstein of the LJ World. So
that's a good
we'll
source.
See what happens there with Melvin Council. What's Jayhawks roster look like right now? They're full, right?
Yeah.
And another guy play? Yeah.
Full, but are you surprised that we didn't get much traction because we've got other things going on? But they're not going to this year, they're going in with maybe the number one recruit, and that's kind of tells you how college basketball is constructed now. That just usually if Kansas brings in the number one guy and a high school recruit, you're top 5. Maybe higher than that, but
we haven't seen an official.
No, but Gary Parrish,
he's got a 19th or something, right?
No, his 25-1, they are not
even in it. Yeah,
there are only 4 Big 12 teams in it. No one ranked higher than 12, and they are not in it. Yeah. So we don't have since it's just him, there's not an also getting votes thing. But if you're a Kansas fan, you're going, wait a minute. We got this guy coming back. This guy's going to come back in. We got this guy coming in. We've got the number one recruit. We got 2 McDonald's All-Americans, and we're not even in the top 25.
Yeah. We saw this last year when
Darren
Peterson was coming in, and I think Gary only had him 17, 18, or 19, somewhere around there. And they didn't want to fall for it 2 years in a row, the ranking makers.
Yeah.
Well, I think, people, for a long time, when the league was what the league was, if Kansas had the name Kansas on the front and Bill Self was coaching the team, this is what it was going to be. You're going to be picked first, all that. And now, he's just had some comments this week about his health, on a podcast talking about the heart attack and all these kind of things. So there's a little bit of fear there probably from people piling up too much expectations. There's the part where number one player has come in. The results haven't been there. They have not won the league.
Yeah.
They haven't really scared for the league title the last couple of years.
And the new teams that are coming into the league, by the way, the 4 teams that were in Gary's poll, Arizona 6, new team, Iowa State 12, not new team, Houston 13, BYU 24.
Yeah, so the
it
teams
is
that came in have
and we knew Arizona
passed Kansas in basketball.
You figured Arizona and Houston would have that
shot,
shot, but Arizona was not quite to that level when they came in. Houston was, but BYU wasn't. But Arizona's up and running big time. Houston isn't falling off. BYU's spending a boatload of money.
We love these.
It's going to be a little tougher.
Injunction hearings in August for these games. These are basketball players. It would be the same thing with some of the football players too. School starts when school starts. So, it's how it goes now. This is the world we live in. The lineup is out for the Royals tonight in Anaheim. Woo! Pretty standard, right?
Yeah.
Got Nick Lofton in the cleanup.
Yeah.
Why not?
Third batting cleanup. Top 3 standard.
You don't like the Rave Rojas Isbell at the bottom?
That's going to be kind of tough.
A little tough?
Collins,
I'm telling you, this is the lineup
Isbell.
right here that scores 6 runs.
Probably.
This is a 6-run lineup. You're like,
and you know what? It'll be
the bottom of the order.
It'll be Rave, Rojas, and Isbell.
They get 4 or 5 hits down there. Someone hits a home run.
Yep.
Something like that.
Yep.
Royals win, beat the Angels 6-2. Lou goes great.
They're favored.
Goes 8. Something like that. They only have to use 2 guys in the bullpen instead of 3 or 4.
It is the Angels, so I would hope we see a good Lugo tonight.
You'd think so. You hope so.
Angels without Trout, I believe.
Yeah. Rough.
Don't look at their lineup. You may not know a name.
Who?
We just know these guys because everyone else looks at this lineup and goes, what?
What?
What is this?
That guy's dead.
No.
We'll cross him off then.
1 more hour of the program to go. Need to know coming up next. Pete Sweeney with a conversation bonus period tonight. Don't forget, if you're out and about in Prairie Village, go by the KU rally down in Corinth Square tonight from 6 o'clock to